I got to tell you, as I start my day today, it is a new day. Something amazing has happened at the Dunham household that we have been putting off, that we have been haunted by, I would say, for years. And that is, our garage is now completely organized.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a lot of losing seasons. We've had a tough
that's
time.
not that big a deal. So.
Okay. How's your garage looking?
Oh, my gosh. Looks like a war zone. As my mom would say, looks like a tornado came through here.
And I look back on it, and a lot of it is my fault because the garage is kind of my domain. I don't do a lot of handiwork, but I do some. Most of the equipment out there is mine. Yard equipment. Unfortunately, some of it is old yard equipment that, all right, I know that weed eater doesn't work, but I'm going to get it fixed. There's a place down the road that I know fixes them, so I'm going to keep that over there. I don't use the electric blower anymore, but I'm going to keep it because maybe someone could use it. All sorts of, I had 3 or 4 different tree trimming tools. 2 of them were the manual kind with just a blade on it, and the other
that's
were,
a beating.
Yeah, I know.
You're talking about one of those long pruning saws?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2 of them have some sort of motor on them. Anyway, that part of it is my fault, but it's interesting how your garage becomes a dumping ground. Things that you have inside the house, like maybe furniture, or you get this box, a collection of books. I'm not really sure what we're going to do with them. Let's just put them in the garage. And that's one thing over a year's time, but we've lived in this house now since 2008. So what is that, 16 years now of that? And I swear we spent the first year, that was like the staging areas we moved in. All the boxes that, do we really need this? I don't know. Let's go through this box. Some of those boxes were then taken and gone up to the attic. And
it never recovered from being the staging area?
Not really, no.
Never.
Now, there were times where, like when my kids were at home and driving and we had more than 2 vehicles, there was a time when we could get 3 cars in the garage.
That was my dad's dream. Yeah. Before he passed away, he said, I just want to, once again, have a garage that I can park in. That was his life's goal.
Yes, it's the little things in life like that. But, it's certainly a statement on me, and everyone's in on this. My wife, my kids, we've all had our hand in using the garage as a staging area, a dumping ground, a place that we just look at and go, yeah, I have no idea what to do with it. Here, let me just wedge it in here between the golf clubs and this weed eater that doesn't work. And it just grows. And it grows, but it does say something, too, as I was going through some of this stuff yesterday. It's like, why did I buy this in the first place? Why did I buy this much stuff? I understand you need tools for the yard, but there's all sorts of games that, and one of them we hung on to that we've played once.
Yeah.
It's this these plastic sheets that you buckle them together so they make a cylinder, and you try to throw a Frisbee in them. Okay, we played it one time,
but you had to store it for.
We've been storing it now for 10. We've stored it for 10 years.
So, how did you get 3 cars in a 2-car garage? You said at one time you could fit 3 cars in the garage.
Oh, we have a 3-car garage.
Whoa!
Yeah, it definitely has a 3-car garage.
Whoa! So let me get this straight.
Unbelievable.
You have a 3-car garage and haven't been able to park any cars in it.
We've had one in there.
Okay.
Hers.
Yeah, hers.
Always happens that way.
Yeah, here, honey. You just park your car.
Here,
it's fine.
Whatever.
I'll walk out in the hailstorm. I'm the one who's going out.
I'm the one who has to go to work.
In the dark, and that's cool. Yeah, just put your car in there. We'll wedge it in between, the fertilizer spreader and my dad's old trunk, which is still there. My dad's footlocker from World War II. That's pretty cool. But...
Let me ask you this, though, about your organization.
Yeah.
did you actually get rid of the stuff,
Yes.
or did you just
Oh,
organize the stuff you had?
No, we got rid of a lot of stuff. And
My problem is that we'll go through and get stuff organized, but then it just becomes 4 deep of organized stuff that you still can't really get to all that well. And
right.
then,
No, this is very organized and
you got rid of junk.
And got rid of a lot. And this is my advice for those who are like me, and I think there's a lot of us out there that just accumulate junk and we don't know what to do with it. You need help. And we had this organizing team, and I know we have a fine sponsor here on the ticket that does that too, but we've used this team of women who've helped us with organizing closets, and they would walk through our garage and they'd say, we do garages too. And I know, I got it. And finally they said, look, just get help. Let's have this team do this. And they're incredible. They are so good at, okay, that's the first thing is, do you need this? No, I guess not. Okay, do you want to donate it, or do you want to sell it?
Throw it away, donate it, or keep it.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting if somebody else asks you, do you need this, it puts you more on the spot. But
That's
if you were to go through and ask yourself, you'd say, yeah, probably, let's keep it. We might use it.
Yeah. You're exactly right about that. And she found that if she asked me, we tended to get rid of a lot more. So yeah, she's very sentimental. And which is really cool because we still have things from our kids' childhood that, like we found a box yesterday of all of their first gloves.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay, right? I'm hanging on to that, and then they can give it to their kids someday, and pass it down. My glove was also in there. I haven't used it in forever, but that was cool. I brought up a lot of memories. We played a lot of catch and all that, so I'm glad we hung on to that. But we're so ridiculously unorganized. I had no idea where it was. And I think that was the last time we cleaned up the garage. Hey, let's put them in a nice bin here and put them on the shelf. Mm-hmm. It's probably moved 8 different times over the last 10 years and was buried under a bag of fertilizer and Bermuda seed.
Bingo.
I've never said Bermuda seed before. But yeah, it's incredible. Don't be embarrassed to go get help because you probably need it. And you need it to say farewell to some things that you just don't need anymore. You needed them 10 years ago, but you don't need them anymore. And for the sentimental things, I don't know how to score that. That's up to you and what's really important to you, how much joy it brings you and how important it is. But
that's the thing on sentimental things. Does it bring you joy, or does it bring you kind of that sadness, the sting of nostalgia?
Yeah, I don't know. With every person, it's different. Some aren't that attached to things. It's like, yeah, I know that was Dad's, but I don't care about it. Let's just get rid of it.
Yeah, I know.
I think a lot of people like the sting of nostalgia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They revel in that.
Sure. Yeah, I don't mind it. I got to tell you, I spent probably 10 minutes with that box of gloves going, yeah, I remember that. I remember when he played his first game, and we took pictures and sent them to the kids. Now, we still have things to get rid of, but that's up to them. It's been boxed up, and it's very organized, and they're going to have to make the call on some things. We went through it yesterday, and if it seemed like it was pretty valuable, we'd say, hey, do you still want this, or you need to go?
I swear a lot of that stuff in your garage was stuff that you were like, you've been after your kids for years.
Some of it, yeah.
Hey, you need to come get this stuff. If you want it, you need to get it.
Yeah.
But I will.
And I remember back when my parents told me the same thing. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. And
they told me the same thing too.
So, and I would say that was maybe 20% of it. Most of it has been my stuff and her stuff, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it's, outdoor equipment that I don't know, why have I been hanging on to this stuff? It doesn't work.
Yeah, you're going to fix it.
You're going to fix it.
Yeah, everything's going to turn around for you.
It'd be nice to have 2 weed eaters that are working,
That's right.
I always kind of liked that weed eater. It was a good one, but gone now. Gone.
Okay.
And I almost just I don't know, walked around the garage for about 30 minutes this morning. I could have.
Mm-hmm.
I could have
so much space in there to walk around now.
So much,
you could run laps in there.
I did some karate for a little bit just because I had so much
some
more
karate
room
in the garage.
It was awesome. So yeah, I feel like a weight is off of my shoulders after finally getting through that, and could not have done it without the organizational help. I desperately needed that.
Thanks, Craig. Did you see that Tom Brady reacted cryptically to Gisele's pregnancy announcement?
No.
Mm-mm.
So he posted this on an Instagram story just hours after the news broke that Gisele Bündchen, his ex-wife, was going to have a baby. She's pregnant again at the age of 44, going to have this one with her jiu-jitsu instructor, which it was rumored at the time she was having an affair with him, and that's why that was half the Tom Brady roast.
Yeah. When was that? Was that
the roast, or
was that last year?
Yeah, it was after his
early
career,
part of this year,
before his broadcast career.
You think that the roasters would have had fun with this news?
Oh my gosh.
So he posted this Instagram story that it was a picture of a sunset with 3 heart emojis, and it was the Chicks, formerly Lady A. Now they're called the Chicks.
No.
Singing Landslide, the Stevie Nicks written song, Landslide. Specifically the part, "Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides?"
It's a great song.
And with the sunset. And so Tom was all down deep in his feels when he posted this.
Oh my God.
Well, for the public figure, I don't know if it's the best thing to do, but if it makes him feel better, it's, give him a little space there to do something like that.
An interesting question. Do men and women react any differently with their ex having a baby with someone else after you've had a baby with someone? Like, I've heard this from people that they don't want their ex to have kids with anybody else, which is kind of odd, isn't it?
Because of how they feel about it, or how their kids that they had with the ex would feel about it.
I'm not sure which is their objection. Maybe it's a little of both. Maybe it's
I could see
one
where,
or the other.
Where they would think it would be weird for the kids that they had with the ex, but I mean, this happens all the time.
I think when it's that close to when you were a couple, if it's 5 years down the line, that's one thing, but
I've heard women say that they don't want their ex to have any more kids with another woman because it divides the material wealth that can go to support her kids with that ex.
Yeah, there's that factor.
But with Tom Brady, that's not going to be a factor,
right.
Obviously.
No, but what about the addition here that if that's the person that broke them up and now they're celebrating having a child together, yeah, that's just another twist of the knife, isn't it?
She claims that she did not cheat on Tom Brady with her jiu-jitsu instructor.
Yeah, okay.
She said that they just had a platonic relationship. And she said, this is something that happens to a lot of women who get blamed when they have the courage to leave an unhealthy relationship and are labeled as being unfaithful.
Okay. All right.
So we're just merely taking her courage and rebranding it in the media.
I'm a little surprised that Brady did anything because of this very thing. Do you really want people on AM radio talking about your relationship and
your reaction
and all that? Just, yeah. Keep it out of the discussion group, I would think.
Yeah, but you know how it is. That's the problem. Twitter ought to just have a 30-minute rule. Because within 30 minutes, most of the stuff you tweet is going to be like, probably not.
Right.
Heck, even just a 10-minute. And I know there's probably services that do this for you, you know, delayed tweets. Are you sure you want to send that tweet? But because it's designed for your instant most emotional reaction. That's what it is designed for, which usually is never the best thing.
Like Dak when he said he was done with the Cowboys and couldn't take Romo anymore.
Yeah.
A couple years later, they're teammates.
Speaking of football, I'm not sure. This may be a little bit older, but it has made the rounds again. It's the video of the two women who are sitting there on the couch reading romance novels with football on in the background, and you can see them start to get really distracted by the things that they are hearing that sound dirty during the play-by-play. Then we'll play it here.
You have to like when there's a guy coming right in your face and he just sits in there and delivers it.
Got guys coming down his face.
Feeling is the Cowboys probably coming right down their throats.
Tyrell Williams. He beats.
Needed 2 thrusts to get it in.
Bynes has been coming all night long, but then he pulls out, and it's just hard. It's been a while since he's seen a hole that big. He almost didn't know what to do. Got 5 inches on him, but just somebody's going to get that gobbler at the end of this game, too.
Receiver coach has been blown away by Crabtree's hands and his ability to suck in these balls.
I think their D's been fine. I think their D has really probably performed above expectations coming in.
Is a thick wide receiver who is powerful from the waist down.
Everybody loves Dick around the list.
Starts to come, and then he pulls
So
out.
there you go.
I didn't really hear anything.
I didn't either.
ridiculous
What are
in
they
that.
talking about?
I don't know.
No, I heard some voices, but
Saying that something sounded dirty in that?
talking
I didn't hear
football.
it. So one of those comments, I guess, is supposed to sound dirty somewhere in
guess.
there.
I don't get it.
I didn't hear it either, but yeah, some people speculating that the broadcasters do this on purpose. I don't think they're doing it on purpose.
No.
But there are probably, at least once a game, my childish mind does go, probably should have worded that a little bit differently. And I wonder if anybody else thinks that has this childish mind, and I look around and nobody else is having a reaction while I'm watching the game, so I'm like, oh, okay, I guess it's just me.
I don't get it.
It's just me. All right, count the red flags here, Craig.
okay.
A scorned
1,
husband.
2.
Why would the husband be one? Scorned husband who found
3,
his wife
4,
and brother
5,
having
6.
Grex
7,
in the back of a car
8,
while his mother.
9.
Well, you don't know the rest of the story.
Yeah, she's involved somehow. So.
I'm going to guess the next word is watched or.
While his mother sat in the driver's seat.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
Where do
9.
you find this garbage?
Has been locked up
10,
after going on
11,
a rampage with a shovel
12,
while screaming
13,
that he was going to, quote, kill them all.
14. That's as many red flags as we've had in a long time.
It's unbelievable. David McCullough is the guy's name. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison in northern Tasmania.
15.
Why would that be a red flag? if you live in northern Tasmania, is that like a little island off of New Zealand or something?
I believe so. Or Australia. It's somewhere down there.
Somewhere where everything runs backwards.
I always thought it was a fake place because of the Tasmanian devil.
Tasmanian devils are real animals, sir. Uh-oh, he's just now finding this out.
They can talk and they go.
No, not that, but they're real animals.
Well, yeah, I knew that.
It is just
I
off
think you did.
Tasmania. Tasmania is just off the coast of Australia,
Okay.
just south of Melbourne.
Well, where's New Zealand? I thought that was off the coast of Australia.
It's southeast of Australia, but a lot further than Tasmania.
That's where I want to live, is New Zealand.
I heard it's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Norm says.
Norm, who couldn't make it out to Guys Night Out because he's disabled, but he could walk all of New Zealand from one end to the other.
He took 8 trips to
It was
New
always
Zealand.
amazing. He would always recover right before vacation.
Right.
Well,
Anyway, so that's a little fun story for you.
Okay.
Teachers usually bust students that are cheating. How about us busting teachers who are cheating? There's a scandal in which teachers in Texas may have paid upwards of $2,500 to have someone else take their teaching certification exam for them.
Wow.
They would do this in the Houston area. Some of them drove as far as like 4 or 5 hours away to Houston to have someone take their test for them. And at least 200 Texas teachers fraudulently.
that's a tough one.
Fraudulently earned their teaching certifications through this cheating scheme.
Man.
5 of the educators now face criminal charges after they profited more than $1 million through the cheating ring. So that's pretty wild, the teacher. And they said that some of these candidates had taken the certification exam several times and failed, and then all of a sudden got a great grade on it. On like their 4th attempt.
Were you a big dog in school?
All right, we're in a safe space. Right?
That's the detective asking tough questions of those potential cheaters. Go ahead.
Because we are in a safe space, right?
Totally.
As we
It's
comment
totally
on
safe
this.
right now.
Just the 3 of us. Nobody's listening.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Your dream is to be a teacher.
Yeah.
You fail the test a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
What if you're known as that person who's not a good test taker, but you'll be a really good teacher? And that's why you get someone to take the test for you. I'm not saying it's right.
Why are
But-
you defending Nazis?
I'm not defending them.
I think
I
we
just-
would. I think we would all want a teacher with those morals teaching our kids.
What if they're
But George is on to something. Safe space once again.
safe space?
I mean, I know that we
it's not
can't win
right.
in today's
Yeah,
climate.
we have
in
a
which
shortage
we got,
of teachers.
we got
It's a really tough job. And what
great
if they
shutdown
do?
discussion phrases. But
We lost power again, so it's safe. You can talk.
Okay.
But, yeah, is it possible that someone could be a great educator that could not pass the exam or
I
did
think
not
there's
pass
a
the
good
exam?
chance of that.
Like in the,
So maybe there's another way to, if someone really wants to be a teacher and
they can do some extra credit work.
extra credit, something. Maybe not cheat like this, but there's some way to, I don't know, there's some program that helps them get to the objectives that we think
My
are so
math man.
important on this test.
Yeah, because it says that a few of the people who paid someone to take their test, that they had they kept failing the parallel parking part of the
Oh, that was it?
examination. Yeah,
Oh,
that was the
man,
only
I
part
coulda
that they
helped them with
failed.
You know, George, your scenario is possible, but I think it's also possible that these people aren't qualified to be teachers.
That's also possible.
and that's why
Yeah,
they
maybe
keep
not.
failing the test. And do you want them
Maybe not.
teaching your kids because they cheated their way into that job?
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe that's the type of teacher we need to keep out of the system.
Well,
I just feel bad if
you
it's
could
a
use me
test.
as an example. If there was a broadcasting test
Right.
that
you
I
would
had to
have failed
pass
it every time. I
to
probably
have
would
this
have too.
job, I wouldn't have gotten it.
Right. That's one example. There are also a lot of people that would fail the broadcasting test that have no business broadcasting.
Like Craig Rosengarten.
What do you want? What
you
are
don't
doing?
have to take a
It's
shot
called fun.
at a teammate.
Look
Yeah.
into
In
fact, we
it.
all know it.
It's just a joke. It was
Yeah.
a G.I. Jane joke, actually.
I want you to get his name out of your mouth.
You would
Are you
actually,
going to?
You would slap me. I'm going to. Gosh, if you would just wait,
Okay.
I was not going to say him in the next sentence.
All right.
You're so impatient. Still can't believe that instant took place
That was wild.
on live television at our biggest award show. It was a G.I. Jane joke. The cheating teachers included at least 2 sexual predators, George. Well, go ahead. You're defending them.
Whoa.
Go ahead.
No, I called for a
go
fair
ahead.
catch.
You were saying how you love how sexual predators can become teachers.
I didn't say anything about that. I called fair catch.
Whoa.
Anyway, many of those involved in this scheme were certified to teach special education. And that's where we have our biggest shortage of teachers, is in the special education.
Very important job.
Field. The kingpin behind this ring of cheating teachers, a basketball coach at Booker T. Washington High School in Houston.
How they doing? How's his team?
I don't think their season started, has it?
Oh, that's right, yeah. NBA started, but not high school hoops.
When do high school hoops start?
November?
Next month, yeah.
Yeah, it's almost November.
Wednesday.
I think I'm going to try out for high school basketball.
Okay.
What does that mean?
I'm going to try to be a walk-on at Lake Highlands.
Okay, good. Yay. That'll be a good news story.
So why is it man wants to be a walk-on on the Lake Highlands basketball team?
So if you, let's say, did not graduate high school, can you go back to get your high school diploma? Because
yes,
at age 60.
Yes, you've seen those stories before.
I don't think I have. I've seen it in college.
Yeah, I've seen college, but I can't recall a 60-year-old being a high school senior.
Did you have a 60-year-old in your high school?
No. Oh, you're talking about going back in the class.
Yeah, back into class. The same way people go back into the college classroom.
I don't think that's allowed in high school.
No, I think you would have to do some sort of online thing. But people go back and get their GED.
But if you're a taxpayer and you've paid for these public schools, you are a member of the public.
Can a 60-year-old
You can't walk the hallways. You can't go back and get your GED.
More questions than answers.
Why can't you walk the hallways?
Well, that's just... You don't want a fellow student... The age difference is 15 to 49.
But all right, no is the answer. You can't go back in person. You can attend an adult high school completion program or take the GED.
Well, why are we preemptively treating everyone like they're a criminal or a predator?
You don't need it. You don't need you walking the hallways of Lake Highlands.
It says the cutoff.
I know you don't need it, but I'm saying
same crap you did 40 years ago.
But why is it okay for that person to walk a college classroom?
Because you got
still
all different
an age
ages.
difference there.
College is different.
You have a bunch of different ages there. Everybody's an adult, and they're not an adult in high school. The cutoff in most states is 21. You can't go to high school past the age of 21.
Wow, a 21-year-old could go, though? That's crazy. A pizza shop in Stoughton, Wisconsin. Where's that, George? You're from Wisconsin.
I'm from
what
Wisconsin.
Town?
Stoughton. They have apologized repeatedly and profusely after they accidentally sold 60 pizzas that were made with oil contaminated with THC.
Uh-oh.
Contaminated with THC or featuring THC? That's a positive. This happened at Famous Yeti's Pizza.
Sounds like a place.
So is the pizza famous or is the Yeti famous? Like, what is the word? What does the adjective famous go with?
It sounds like
Yeti or pizza. Famous Yeti's Pizza. They issued a statement that said, "At Famous Yeti's Pizza, we are committed to the safety and trust of our community, and we want to provide a transparent update."
You're a pizza place, okay? You made a mistake. Just say that.
Well, they did. They said, look, we made a mistake, and we feel horrible about this, and there was some mix-up in their ingredient storage, and someone grabbed some oil that had Delta 9 in it, which I think is like a Tanya Tucker song or something.
Delta
9. Anyway, they say the oil was stored properly and in accordance with local guidelines, but there should have been more safeguards in place that someone couldn't accidentally grab this oil off the shelf and use it for pizza making.
Is the person responsible? Have they been sacked?
Why are you so British all of a sudden?
I don't know if I'm going to be putting on this headset again.
Have they been sacked? Have they been made redundant?
The person responsible has just been sacked.
Said, moving forward, we will no longer allow Delta 9 or related substances to be stored at our facility. But they said that people were eating the pizza and then they're just like zoning out, man, and just getting like all philosophical and stuff, man.
Oh, what if I was a pizza?
But the problem was children had access to those pizzas.
They probably thought it was great, too.
And to protect our children from pizza predators that are all Delta 9'd up, dressed in tactical vests and everything. Isn't that what Delta 9 is? What is the Delta stuff? Delta Force.
Yeah. Sounds like Delta 9 should be our special ops force in the Army. Dispatch Delta 9.
Were you guys ever obsessed with special forces when you were a kid?
A little bit.
Yeah. Kind of still am.
You want to be special forces?
Well, no, I don't want to be special forces, but I think they're pretty cool.
I have always thought that the coolest thing that you could tell people that you are is a Navy SEAL.
Yeah.
Yeah, or Green Beret.
Yeah, something like that. That's pretty cool.
What's the other one? Army Rangers?
Yeah, I think so.
I want to go back to George's quote.
What?
I don't want to be special forces, but I think they're pretty cool. I want that on a t-shirt.
Sorry, I just had some pizza.
Did you know that kids in Des Moines, Iowa, do not go trick-or-treating on Halloween?
The whole town?
Yeah.
Why?
No.
But for the first time since 1938, the kids will trick-or-treat on Halloween in Des Moines. They started this tradition way back then. It was some park supervisor who recommended it in 1938. And they go out on Beggar's Night, which is the night before Halloween. Which Halloween is also the night before something, too. So it's the night before the night before All Hallows Day. Or whatever.
All Saints Day.
All Saints Day. There you go. And Des Moines kids, they don their costumes and they go out on Beggar's Night and they have to, instead of saying trick or treat, they have to offer a joke to this. What is this, the Netherlands or something? It sounds like some tradition from across the pond.
That night sounds right up your alley. You'd love going door to door and doing your stand up.
I don't have stand up. But Beggar's Night has been delayed because of expected heavy rain and thunderstorms this year, so they've rescheduled it for Halloween. So make sense of this.
Huh.
Kids are going trick-or-treating on Halloween, but it's not Halloween trick-or-treating. It's Beggar's Night joke-telling on Halloween, which was the workaround for Halloween.
I can't believe those kids in Des Moines never go trick-or-treating.
Yeah, and they were some people
that.
quoted in the story that said that we didn't realize that it was this big of an anomaly. They thought other people in other areas of the country did this too, but now it's just Des Moines.
Huh.
No. So hopefully we'll hear from some Des Moines P1s. Des Moines. That's a weird name, isn't it?
Des Moines.
Des Moines. Des Moines. What's the weirdest name for a city ever? Or town? Truth and Consequences,
Truth
or Consequences. That's a weird name for a place.
New Mexico. Mm-hmm. That's got to be the weirdest.
Yeah. Truth or Consequences. Like, how did that get knocked out of the band name list immediately when they were trying to name their town?
I thought I read once that it was something else, and then they renamed it after the TV game show.
Oh, as like a publicity deal?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, that's not as exciting.
What was the one just over by Ponder that had a weird name? It had to do with oil and gas. Y'all remember?
Justin?
No.
Is that near Ponder?
Crum?
Yeah. No.
Yeah, here's the story. The city changed its name from Hot Springs, New Mexico to Truth or Consequences as a result of a radio show contest. In March 1950, Ralph Edwards, the host of the radio show Truth or Consequences, announced that he would air the program on its 10th anniversary from the first town that renamed itself after the show. And they did that in 1950.
And they kept it ever since.
Crazy.
It is. All right, we'll be on the lookout for the weirdest named places in Texas. And I will visit them all on my motorcycle. Grace Slick is 85. From Jefferson Airplane and Starship.
Does she still perform?
Oh, no.
At 85?
I don't know.
Oh, no.
We built this city.
The Stones are.
Was that Starship?
Paul is. Willie.
He's
in his 90s.
Hey, I forgot to mention a notable entertainment death. Terry Garr passing away at the age of 79.
Sad. I love Terry Garr.
Anybody who, was in high school, college in the 80s, Terry Garr was in all of these big movies.
She was so cute. And you had a crush on her because she was funny.
Mr. Mom, and she was great.
Letterman was obsessed with her.
Yeah.
Henry Winkler is 79.
Greatness.
Whoa.
Timothy B. Schmidt is 77.
Great voice.
Okay, drop the B out of his name. Why do some people force their middle initial into everything?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Like John F. Kennedy. I get why he had to go by F because he couldn't say the full word. It's too vulgar.
Cecil B. DeMille.
Yeah, see, it's haughty.
It is.
Harry Hamlin, excuse me. Big Harry Hamlin, 73, from Clash of the Titans. World's sexiest man at one time. Kevin Pollak, 67, from A Few Good Men and The Usual Suspects. Gavin Rossdale, 59. And he married to Gwen Stefani?
He was, I think.
Oh.
She's married to Shelton now.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't there some supermodel or something that I brought up her husband and she had moved on and was on husband number 2 and he was standing right there when I asked her about him?
No, it was Marissa Miller, I think, the supermodel. We had her on at the Super Bowl. And you asked about an ex-husband, and her publicity person behind was waving you off.
Yeah,
it's always
don't
bad.
ask. Don't ask.
Always bad news when the publicity person's waving you off. Question. Dick Vermeil is 88.
Take its own.
Speaking of someone, his publicity person was trying to wave Craig off.
We had him on at the Super Bowl also, and I made him cry, and it was unintentional.
Such a nice guy.
So uncomfortable.
But I love him.
Mickey Rivers is 76.
Wow.
Greatness,
So
Mick
much
the
greatness.
Quick, Rangers leadoff hitter.
My first baseball glove. You were talking about your first baseball gloves of your kids?
Mm-hmm.
My first baseball glove was a Mickey Rivers signature glove.
Boy, that made you just a little bit better, the fact that you had Mickey Rivers on
Was he
your
a
glove.
lefty?
I want to say he was a righty, but I can't remember.
Mine was a lefty glove. I don't know if you can only get signature gloves from people who actually are left-handed.
No, I stand corrected. He was a lefty.
There you go. Dave Valley, 64.
Catcher.
And Ty Detmer is 57.
Heisman.
You?
You up to date. He's from San Marcos.
Yep. Born in San Marcos.
San Antonio?
Because he played high school football in San Antonio.
Yeah. I'm just saying he's a San Marcos native. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
Or did he play down by the border?
Ty Detmer from
Ty Detmer.
South Texas.
Coy Detmer played down by the border. Maybe Ty played in San Antonio.
Ty.
Let me look here.
His father and I built this club.
From Dallas.
Yeah,
Southwest and San Antonio for Ty.
Ty.
And I think Coy played down by
Del Rio, maybe?
He played down by the pond.
Coy.
Pond.
Coy played in Mission.
Okay.
Mission High School.
There you go.
Okay, thanks. That's Muse.
Patreon.com/sportsgreek.
The Mavericks are off to a 3-1 start. They got a win last night in Minnesota, beating the Timberwolves 120-114. And joining us now on the ticket hotline to talk about it is the Mavericks head coach, Jason Kidd. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning, guys. Good to be on with you.
Yeah.
Well, we wanted to have you on to talk about the kickoff to the season.
Well, we don't really have a kickoff in basketball. I mean, I guess I could work with league officials to have one added to satisfy your interrogative requirements.
No.
But I think it would be a little bit awkward to start every game by kicking kicking the basketball from one end of the court to the other. But, I mean, if it makes you happy, I'll work tirelessly to bring that about.
No, that's not what I meant.
No, I think we were just trying to have you on to, pick your brain about this year's team.
Well, I won't really allow anyone, including my loved ones, to pick my brain. I mean, that's way too destructive of gray matter. I mean, and the removal of the skull so that you could even get a dental pick in the cerebral cortex seems like it would be difficult. But if you like, I can ask our training staff to install a hidden skull plug so that you could at least get in there a little bit easier with your implements of torture, so you could pick the parts of my brain out that contain the memories of rolling my SUV while crying and listening to Tony Braxton songs, if that's what you want.
No, that's not what we want. Just a figure of speech is all it was.
This is Mavs head coach Jason Kidd with us on the ticket. All right, let's talk basketball. With the addition of Klay Thompson, gives you quite a three-headed monster, doesn't it?
Well, I wouldn't say we have a three-headed monster on the team. I mean, I know it's Halloween, but that would be very spooky if we had a three-headed monster. Just like one body, but maybe one werewolf head and a minotaur head and one Klay Thompson head on the same body, and all bickering with each other all the time, arguing about who's going to get to wear the headphones to listen to the Taylor Swift Essentials playlist on Apple Music. But but I don't think that kind of creature is found on our roster. I mean, in fact, I think it's kind of insulting to insinuate that anyone's a three-headed monster or any team. I mean, if a person was a three-headed monster, I would think that person's mommy's vagina doctor would notice that in an ultrasound.
And tell her ahead of time, I guess.
I think that, she would probably support her own right to choose in that case.
Oh,
because
my gosh.
A three-headed baby is hard to pass out of the front girl butt. So,
I didn't intend for that question to go there.
If that's what you're saying, is that a woman who's gestating a monstrous fetus containing 3 craniums should go out of state to get rid of a rotten womb fruit. I can't support that.
No. It's not where I was headed at all.
I can't believe we landed there. All right, let me try another basketball question. What a huge shot by Luka late in the game. But I wouldn't say in these first 3 or 4 games that he's shooting lights out.
Well, as a coach and as a team leader, I don't support anybody shooting the lights out. I mean, that's, illumination is very important in a basketball facility. And if there were no lumens of any extensive nature due to player-related gunfire, then how would anyone even see the rim to execute a successful basketball shot? So I don't think you thought the question out too much. But
George.
So maybe you should think a little bit more about the seriousness of bulb-targeted gunplay before you ask the next basketball question.
You're right. That one's on me.
Well, we know you got to run. We appreciate the time, and good luck.
Well, I don't have to run. I'm not running from anything. I mean, I don't know why you're prescribing an exercise for me when I have my own freedom of choice to do elliptical or rowing or jiu-jitsu. But, why didn't you say we know you got a jiu-jitsu? That would have been more accurate than saying we know you got to run.
Again, just a figure of speech.
Good morning.
All right, good luck, Coach. We'll see you. There goes Jason Kidd.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you, George. And thanks to all the P1s who showed up for our Tuesday night Twitch streaming. NFL season, we go to Tuesday nights. I did a slideshow last night.
Of?
My adventures as I travel the globe on my motorcycle right now.
You are technically traveling the globe. Just not all the way around it.
I even showed a picture of yesterday's disaster. Yesterday's tragedy.
Disaster.
Yeah, I was out off-roading, and I had to lay her down a couple times.
You did?
Mm-hmm. I didn't have to. I
wiped out.
But you did?
Fell over in rough terrain.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, going really slow speed. But one of them I fell, and my elbow trapped between the ground and my rib cage. That did not feel fun. So, but it's all part of the experience.
Yeah,
that absolutely happens when you're off-road on a motorcycle.
I haven't fallen on my road bike in a while, fingers crossed, knock on wood. But since getting a mountain bike a few years ago, I have gone down a few times. It's been very low speed.
Yeah.
Like making a real tight corner and on loose dirt or something.
Yep,
and
exactly.
You just kind of tip over.
That's part of the experience if you're doing off-roading, dirt biking, whether it's on a bicycle or a motorcycle, is you're gonna tip over. It's not so fun.
I had a question for you. This is probably a stupid motorcycle question. But when
there are no stupid motorcycle questions, just stupid people, which you are one. So go ahead.
So when you buy a bike, size is very important. They're in, very specific increments. There's so many different sizes of bicycle frames to buy based on your height, leg length, things like that. Are all motorcycles just one size, or do certain models come in a larger size or smaller size? Or since your body isn't the engine, does the same motorcycle work for a 5'5" guy and a 6'5" guy?
Not a stupid question, Craig. There are very few models that offer different sizes. I know in the Honda lineup, in the dual sports that I'm looking at, there is one model that comes in two different sizes, which has factory lowered suspension. Now, some people will lower their suspension because some people get really nervous. Most dirt bikes, you can't touch the ground, really. They're high up. They have high seats. And a lot of other motorcycles, too. People with a shorter inseam, they can't reach the ground, can't flat-foot it, as they say, and that makes people really nervous. So they want their bikes lowered. But eventually, even if you're short, you'll learn to ride a bike that you can't flat-foot on the ground. You'll be able to tilt the bike one way at a stop and put one foot on the ground,
right?
Which is fine. But you can also buy different seats with different thicknesses of the seat if you want to get a little bit lower, or you can buy lowering links for the actual suspension. But it's not like bicycles where you get really specific on size on especially high-end bikes. I mean,
right.
you dial it in exactly. Yeah,
okay.
It's not as exact.
I didn't think so, but I didn't know if there was any play in there.
Most of the time, it's one size fits all.
Yeah.
A model is the model, and you have to modify it in order to do anything to the height of it.
Okay, thank you.
Like Wimby driving a dirt bike. He's 7'3".
Who's Wimby?
Victor Wimby.
Isn't that a stadium in London?
That's Wembley.
Yeah, I do wonder how excessively tall people.
Shaq ride motorcycles.
He does have a motorcycle.
Does he?
Yeah, and I can't remember the story with it. Somebody was asking me about Shaq's motorcycle recently. I have no idea what kind of motorcycle you'd find that Shaq would fit on.
Okay, the only pictures that pop up, he's on, looks like a chopper. That's it.
What do you call that when the front wheel's extended like that?
That's ridiculous.
What is that?
That's a chopper.
Yeah.
It's with the wheel that's way out in front.
Yeah,
and
so cartoony.
I know. I can't imagine how those things handle. But it was a fun time for now the disabled. As I...
You have injuries?
I probably bruised my ribs. It's not that bad. Mm-hmm. But I was laying on the ground looking up at God's blue sky going, oh, trying to catch my breath.
Like Jack in the beginning scene of Lost when he was looking at the blue sky.
But the blue sky.
And what else, Craig?
He's talking. I don't want to interrupt him.
No, you were just talking.
Leaving your room now.
Yeah.
It just reminded me of that scene where he was looking up at the blue sky.
Gosh, you should at least watch the first season of Lost.
I did.
Or the first episode.
Yeah, the first episode was so great.
I watched a reference like that.
Every episode. That's why I can jump in and join a reference like that.
Such a guy faking a book report every time you talk about Lost.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Chase adds this to the discussion. He says that he thinks, in referencing the Jason Kidd visit that we had at 8:40 today when he misunderstood Craig when he mentioned the phrase kick off the season. Jason clarified that there is no kickoff in basketball.
I know what Craig was thinking.
But Chase says he thinks a kickoff from one end of the basketball court to the other would be a pretty great way to start a game. Coin toss, you elect to receive, and you choose your side of the court, and it's more fun than a tip-off. I think tip-offs are kind of anticlimactic. Hey, guys. Yeah.
Well, you want the first possession, don't you?
Yeah, but I don't know. It just doesn't seem as I need more violence in the opening play of basketball.
Like a hockey face-off kind of thing?
Yeah. Face-off's more exciting than a tip-off.
Hockey?
And a kickoff is more exciting than both of those, I think.
I like the tip-off. We used to do it to start both halves back in the day. Then the NBA changed it to just inbound.
Why, because too many guys were getting hurt?
No, I don't know why they did that, actually. I'll have to look into that. But I like it. It's fun to see these two giants go out there. The ref, there's an art to throwing it up perfectly between the two. I like it.
Stephanie comments on Halloween in Des Moines. So we just now found this out today, the three of us, that Des Moines, Iowa celebrates Halloween in a completely different way than the rest of America. And people who are from Des Moines live in such a bubble that they oftentimes don't realize that the rest of America doesn't do it the same way they do. They don't go out on Halloween night. Kids don't get dressed up and go out on Halloween night. They go out on Beggar's Night, which is the night before Halloween. And Stephanie says, "Hey, Gordon, I'm a P1 born and raised in Texas who now lives in the Des Moines area. When I first moved here, I was thoroughly confused by their Halloween traditions. Until this year, the small town I lived in did Beggar's Night on a non-school night. So technically, you could be going out on Halloween if it fell on a weekend. But I'd always heard it was so the kids didn't have to go to school the next morning after staying up all night. I laugh when they say that they're changing it this year because of the weather, because last year it was 20 degrees and windy on Beggar's Night. That's why they're changing it in Des Moines this year. It's actually going to fall on Halloween night instead of Beggar's Night. But the kids were still out collecting candy. 20 degrees and windy.
Wow.
As for jokes, that's another part of the Des Moines tradition. You've got to tell a joke in order to receive candy. So kids have to tell jokes to the houses. As for the jokes, I was caught completely off guard here. The first year we went trick-or-treating and everyone kept asking for jokes. I was ill-prepared and told them, we don't know any kid-friendly jokes in my family, so. Meanwhile, my son is hiding behind me because some stranger is promising him candy if he'll come up and tell him a joke into their ear. Isn't this some S we warn our kids about? Yes. Stephanie, you didn't have to get so vulgar there, but... Anyway, my husband, who's from here, had no idea these traditions were not practiced in other parts of the country until we lived in San Antonio for a few years. My coworkers, clueless too. I must say that the bubble that the Midwesterners live in is a pretty comfy place, she says. Y'all should come check it out. So she listens to us from up there in Des Moines.
Right. I like the Midwest.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
Does everyone in the Midwest have no accent? Or when you go up northern Midwest, it gets out, oh, yeah, I told ya.
You know, northern Iowa, where my sister lived, they had almost Minnesota-like accents. But in the southern part of the state, they had country accents.
What?
Of course, these were, because they were out in the country.
Closer to Missouri.
Farmers, yeah.
Well, why would being in the country, in that area of the country, make you have a...
I don't know, but they all talk
country
like
accent.
I think you could have taken someone
down there
from their old town in the southern part of the state, and you'd have thought they were from Texas.
It's weird how Minnesota and Wisconsin have very specific, distinct accents, but right next door you have the Dakotas and Michigan on either side, and they don't really have. Maybe Dakotas.
Yeah,
share.
Dakotas a little
they
bit
do.
of Minnesota.
Think of Fargo.
Yeah.
But Michigan, there isn't really a Michigan accent, is there?
No, not that I can think of. I guess it's similar to Chicago. You know, it's just that, I don't know, there's a harshness to the Chicago accent that you don't find in Iowa.
Yeah.
What's the least attractive accent on a woman and the least attractive accent on a man?
Boston and Boston.
Really?
I think so.
It is bizarre.
I want to hear from our female P1s. What do they think is the sexiest accent on a guy and the least sexy accent?
They'll say British, but do you mean just American accents?
No, I think it can be any kind of accent.
I remember when the family, the Murrays, moved in from Boston. I just thought it was bizarre the way they talked. The yad, ka. But I liked it, though. I thought it was I thought it was interesting.
Just bizarre.
Yeah.
P1 Shannon says, I'm a P1 who lives in Des Moines, and I can confirm your high-level reporting on Beggar's Night. Well, thank you. The origins are even more nonsensical than you said. The reason they moved it to the night before Halloween was because there was too much vandalism and crime on Halloween. So they thought it would be safer to have kids go out the night before, which in turn just moved all the vandalism to that same night. Which, yeah. And they've been doing it that way since, 1938? He says, yes, kids are supposed to tell a joke to get their candy, but I will tell you that only 10% of homes actually require this. It's always a dead giveaway on which places are sticklers for the joke because there's a line going down their sidewalk for kids to get their candy. It's all gummed up, people waiting in line behind some kid who has some elaborate 3-part riddle to earn his fun-sized Snickers. My kids have gotten smart over the years and just skipped those houses with the lines. For additional context, I grew up in northwest Iowa and had never heard of Beggar's Night until I moved to Des Moines as an adult. He said, I grew up trick-or-treating on Halloween like a red-blooded American, but when I had to tell my kids they'd be going out on actual Halloween this year due to weather, they were so confused and asked me questions like, well, what will we do on the night before Halloween then? They're so used to celebrating that night. He said, this is just another sign of Biden's America. Okay, I don't that's necessary. By the way, Stephanie signed off LHO forever on her email, the previous email.
That's what you like,
which is unnecessary. And Steve said that he grew up in Des Moines and he had some jokes at the ready. So his jokes when he was going out on Beggar's Night was, why did the man put his car in the oven? And he claims this is a whole joke series up there.
Okay.
Why did the man put his car in the oven? And these were some of his punchlines. Because there was no room in the garage. These are kid jokes. Mm-hmm. Because he wanted a hot rod. That's like straight out of Skip's playbook. And then my favorite, because there was a cake in the garage. I think that one's kind of funny.
That is funny.
That one's kind of funny. So thank you for that Halloween tradition from Des Moines, for P1s from Des Moines.
All right, Gordo, thank you. That's the corner.
Well, look at this. A snake in the birdhouse.
Well, a corgi, actually.
Hey, little corgi, actually.
Hello, old friends. How are we?
All right, hi there. Snake.
So, I'm going to let our old buddy Tyler Samsel kick this off, and he can ask this himself because he thought of this.
Why the hell are you using the tip sheet?
Because, yes, Tip Sheet had this conversation after a 40-liner fiasco. Go ahead, Tyler.
Yes, so I will present to you, would you rather have to put an S on the end of every word, like Sal in South Philly, or not be able to put an S on the end of any words, so everything is singular?
Weirds.
So I'll give you an example. Like I'm reading right now.
Weirds questions.
I'm reading right now. You know Sal in South Philly.
Oh yeah, how's used to's doings?
Yes. So this is kind of. I'm reading a paragraph on the Cowboys right now for a mid-season report. So if you had to add an S onto everything like Sal did, it would read the following: if the Cowboys are going to make the playoffs for a fourth straight seasons, they will have to improve greatly on both sides of the balls. The defensive numbers are nears the bottoms of the leagues. The offensive numbers aren't much better, especially the runnings games. Injuries have hurts, but inconsistency has hurt more. That's way harder.
I'd want to do that, though. Yeah, because you're already leaving words out with S. That's fun.
It's fun, because you just try to talk like Sal in South Philly, but if you take away the pluralization of words, it would read, if the Cowboy are going to make the playoff for a fourth straight season, they will have to improve greatly on both sides of the ball. The defensive number are near the bottom of the league. The offensive number aren't much better, especially the running game. Injury have hurt, but inconsistency have hurt more.
No, that's not as fun. Let's put the S at the end of it.
Putting all the S's is going to be harder to do, but you're going to sound like a simpleton if you don't put S's on anything.
Use guys. Yeah, I'd rather sound like that.
Yeah,
That's fine.
you could play it off as like you're an idiot from the Northeast if you had to add the S, but you would sound like a dumb ass if you couldn't pluralize anything.
So you think all people with Northeastern accents sounds like I almost said
sounds of what?
Sounds like dumbs.
Sounds like some dumbs asses.
Like I'm watching The Sopranos. I'm rewatching The Sopranos, and it's
Christopher.
Yeah, they do. There is something about, and those guys are dumb, and the actors are told to play the characters as idiots, but they do sound dumb.
Money laundering business.
Yeah.
Hey, dude. Spoiler alert.
A lot of nudity in it too.
Dill.
Okay, so this guy P1 Hamburger asks the following.
Hamburger.
He uses this as $100,000 for his hypothetical. I know the answer is no. So I'm going to kick it up to $500,000, and then we'll figure out what the limit is. Would you take $500,000 a year for a job?
Yes.
Where you get paid to sit in a pitch black room with no electronics and do nothing for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week?
That would drive.
Yes, it's called sleep.
Me crazy.
No, you can't sleep.
Oh, okay. So that's the parameter.
Yeah.
So,
You walk into your office, you got your little lunch, your little briefcase.
But you couldn't see where you set it down.
No, you can't do anything. You sit there for 8 hours a day.
Like, oh, no, I dropped my ring.
No. I'd go crazy after one day. I can't do it.
I don't think I could.
Is there
either.
a number?
I don't think I can physically or emotionally.
I mean, if you're not
it.
going to do it for $500, $5 million wouldn't make the difference. You just.
I don't think it's humanly possible.
Seems like you'd go crazy. Like it's some sort of solitaire where you'd go insane eventually. Just sitting in pitch black. Although you may heighten some of your senses.
But does it reset you when you get out after 8 hours? Do I get a lunch break and breaks like a normal job?
Like a smoke break to get out of the dark?
I mean, we get breaks at jobs, right?
No. It's 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and you have to sit in the pitch black room with no electronics.
And your job is just to sit?
That's it.
Man, you'd have to become really good at meditating.
Yeah, I don't think I can do it.
I'd try it for $500,000.
You couldn't do it.
I don't know.
Dude, I don't think you could last. I don't think you could do it 2 days. I really don't.
But out of everyone, I think Matt will last the longest out of all of us.
I think you can put your mind in a place. You just meditate and allow yourself to.
Imagine all the dirty songs you'd be singing in there.
You just understand that time doesn't exist.
No interaction with anybody.
Just for
your
8
mind
hours,
couldn't handle it.
It's only for 8 hours. I'd like to try
8 hours.
It's going to be the next
Only
punishment
8
for Picks with Friends.
You work in the most lighted, talkative environment.
Oh, that's the truth.
For 3 hours.
It's like a dentist office in here.
You could not do it for 8. I'm telling you, do it one day and you're like, I'm out. I'm done.
I'm practicing.
Oh, you can still see some of the light through your closed eyes. It doesn't even count.
I can't see anything right now.
From Paul, or no, I'm sorry, this is from Justin. You get $1 million, but every time you fly, time you fly somewhere,
I was flipping Matt off with his eyes closed, and he opened them up. He's, I can't see anything, and I was flipping them off.
Awesome.
I'm sorry. Damn it.
You get $1 million, but every time you fly somewhere for the rest of your life, you have to be holding a baby for the entirety of the flight. Not your baby, and once you land, you hand it back to the parent. Do you accept?
Easy. Yes. Easy.
For $1 million?
Okay, let's think about this. I'm giving you a check for a bag of $1 million, okay?
Okay.
And that's it. So you're 50. You've got 35 years left of flying. Let's say you fly
4 times
you fly
a year.
10 times, 10 flights a year?
Sure. Give me that baby. Let's have some fun.
Yeah, for $1 million? Are all your flights covered within that?
It doesn't even matter. I have
your flights aren't covered within that.
We're having a great time, and there are going to be some times where the baby falls asleep.
Like, do you have to change its diaper and stuff, or is it just holding it?
No, you do everything that a baby requires. Could be sick, could be throwing up.
Okay.
That's not bad.
That's fine. I would totally accept that.
This is spoken from one guy who's never had a baby on a plane.
Sure,
it's a beating.
But I've been around. I know it's a beating.
If you're sitting down and they just hand it to you, then you don't have to carry on all the stuff and deal with all that.
Yeah, I don't have to do anything that leads up to it.
If its diaper needs change, you go, I'm not changing it. Parents can change it when I give it back.
So you're basically doing it for about, on average, if your life expectancy is about 35 years, you're doing it for like $30,000 a year.
Yeah, but if you invest properly, you can turn that into more. The key, you want to diversify your portfolio.
I guess.
Put it all on Sharks Kings. As soon as I get it, putting it all on a puck play. I'm with you. I see what you're saying. I don't have any, but if I don't have to deal with getting them all together, lugging them to the airport, getting it all through security, and my only responsibility is the actual flight.
Yeah.
Bring the baby.
I want to see you hung over to holy hell coming off a Vegas 3-day bender and someone hand you a baby. All you want to do is sleep on the plane.
Well, you can help it to sleep as well.
That's the other thing is that I am
little Hennessy on rub it on the gum.
Yeah.
They'll fall right asleep.
The baby can't drink.
Okay,
that's another stipulation. No alcohol for the baby.
Just a little drop to get him a little drowsy.
Again, it's not your baby.
It's not mine. I don't have to worry about it.
That's true. I mean, you could let it smoke crack in the bathroom, I guess, since it's not yours.
I suppose.
But
by any means necessary, right?
For me, it's planes are an exercise basically to take a nap.
Really? Man, I can't sleep on a plane.
I can't sleep on an airplane anyway.
I can't either.
I mean, like yesterday, it was 2 hours coming back from San Francisco. Easy.
That is incredible.
That's great, man.
Without taking anything?
No, I don't take anything.
I don't have that skill. If I had that skill, I would love it, but I don't.
I have to mix some stuff to knock myself out. I can't
really?
sleep. Yeah, I can't.
I can't either.
I can't sleep in a car.
Wow. All right, this is from Matt. You can get one and only one NBA Jam style poster dunk in your whole life. Who would you choose that dunk to be on? So this is like your one. I mean, I can't dunk, but you'll be able to do it one time, and you can pick the guy that you like Sean Bradley posterized by Shaq. Would you do like a parent, a friend, a sibling, your wife, or a famous athlete?
It definitely wouldn't be my wife. I don't want to dunk on her.
No.
It would be a famous athlete, and it would be somebody like Shaq. Because it would be replayed over and over and over and over again if I dunked on him. Like, it's the only time I've ever been called into an NBA basketball game, and my only play is dunking over Shaq. I'd be famous.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Dude, I think I would take it over like Devin Booker.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Oh,
Devin Booker.
That would be great.
D-Wade statue.
Just the statue.
Yeah, D-Wade is high up on the list, but he has to fall down when I dunk on him. That's the only stipulation that I have.
And then they call a foul on you?
No, and then it's an and one. And then I have to go to the free throw line.
The high that you would have entering that game knowing that you were about to, and the other guy doesn't know.
This is it. That'd be awesome. Mine would 100% be Devin Booker.
Man, you know, unless you can my mind
unless you can time travel and go back, and then in the 06 finals, it would be on Dwayne Wade.
Yeah.
I like to dunk on Karl Malone. That's my most hated basketball player of all time.
Well,
Karl
I give you that
Malone?
because
you turn around, you're like, I guess the mailman doesn't always deliver after you slam it in his face.
And then he's like, why are you giving bad lines?
Like I haven't heard that one before.
You're right.
You don't know if he has or not.
Let's see here. If the ticket host participated in a contest where everyone gets in a vehicle and the last one to leave wins the car, who would be the most likely to win and who would be most likely to leave first? He says, somehow I feel mad is the answer to both. So you just get in a car. This is like hands on a hard body hypothetical, but you have to get in the car and sit there. And how long could you go?
That's definitely Matt's up his territory. He would win. I would put every dollar in my pocket on Matt for that one. Because I think he could, he'll if you had to sit in the back seat with him and he'll just kind of stare at you until you get, okay, I'm leaving.
You would go insane. Yeah. I would drive all of you insane within 8 hours of being in the car with me.
8 hours? There's no chance anybody makes it like 4.
Yeah, it'd be rough.
I couldn't do it.
Oh my God, shut up.
I think you and Gordon would go head to head as far as annoying
Making
people to where they
everyone crazy.
leave, and then you guys kind of battle to see who's going to stay.
Yeah,
they'd be the last two.
I like to get in the car sometimes with my wife, and I'll just, like I was doing it the other day where I kept singing this weird lyric in a different voice over and over and over to see how long she would let it go.
God.
And that only lasted like 60 seconds.
Just over and over
it's like
again.
that. I go, ba-ba-ba-ba-bum-bum. Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum-bum. Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum.
Oh, yeah.
And she goes,
That's
stop,
driving
stop.
me crazy right now. You just did it 3 times.
Man, the longest I ever did that, I did a noise for almost like 12 minutes once to see if my kid would go nuts. And finally, I mean, he lasted a long time. And after 12 minutes, he's like, Dad, what are you doing? I was like, I got you.
Jeez. What a long game you
That
play.
is the worst payoff I've ever heard. I got you. That's it?
Like a 13-year-old.
All right, since Halloween is tomorrow, best costume you guys have ever worn.
My blood pump throat cut was probably the best one.
So did that take like going and like learning how to put the makeup on and all that?
Well, I was talking about this yesterday. So when I was in theater in college, we had a makeup class, and so I designed like it looked like I had my throat slashed with like latex and stuff, and I had a pump in my hand, and I ran a tube up underneath the cut, so when people came up to me, I could squeeze a little blood out, and it would squirt on them.
Dude, that's high level.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I was just
don't like to
Flavor
dress
Flav.
up. Oh, you were Flavor Flav?
I had the horn, Vikings helmet. I had a clock.
You don't like to dress up?
No. I think Halloween's ridiculous. I hated it when I was a kid, too.
I love to dress up.
What, are you too cool or something?
It's just like, okay, I got to think of something, and then I got to put it on, and I just don't want to do it, and
I
then
don't
you go
need
to the
anyone
party.
giving
It's very
me candy.
Man.
It's very Larry David thing
Bring me
where
candy, Jeeves.
I just didn't like it. I just didn't enjoy it at all. But I did enjoy one time going as Italian Spider-Man because there were these YouTube videos going around of this old 70s like porn star Italian guy that just had a sweatshirt on that had like a Spider-Man net on it, like a red sweatshirt. And he didn't have any moves or anything outside of like just going, and it was Italian Spider-Man, and that's what I went as.
Even your dog hates that. It's like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, just keep reading it.
All right, Corby, thank you. Thank you, P1s. Truly appreciate it.
Way to
That's
go.
the Birdhouse for this week.
Once again, the ticket presents Why Today Doesn't Suck.
Man, don't even talk to me about that record label man. You always say that don't suck your teeth at me. You always say don't suck your teeth at me, man. How my don't suck your teeth at me?
Well, how my don't give me no reason to suck them. I won't suck them.
Once he realizes not to suck his teeth at me, we can have a nice conversation.
And now, here are your hosts, Sean Bass and David Mino.
The sweet spot.
Still going. Okay, now it ended. Way to hold that note, Justin.
It's very handy.
That is us. We are the Sweet Spot. Spot. Special thanks to our new friend, John Calipari, for joining us. Our old friend, Shahan Jayaraja from CBS Sports, talking some college football. Now, today is our Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow, normal Thursday, will be our Friday because on Friday, the Stars will be playing during our game.
In Finland.
In Finland. So hopefully Matt Duchene gets us a nice dub. And at 2:59, any hot ham?
Thank you, Mino. Eatsies Market and Bakery and GimmeTheVin.com brings you my damn buddy, Hot Wheels Monty.
Thanks, Sam. Yes. We say hello to the hard line. Sweets. Die.
What is that from?
Or the Shahan Open.
Oh, okay.
Because we did it quickly today, and we're like, we'll redo it. And he saved it like an ass. Sweet spot.
Okay. Goodness.
There I am. I'm running away. I'm sure I'll come back by later. Well, they are the hard line. Bob, Corby, and Dave, the kings of Emerald City conjecture.
Bob, Corby.
Dave. And they are all the way over there.
We, Monto, are at CC Young.
Oh.
Senior Living.
Love it.
Where it is trunk or treat out here.
I'm going to take the treat.
as we are anxiously awaiting the arrival of Bob Sturm.
I don't want some old guy's trunk in my face.
It's Wagon Wednesday.
CC Young right here on the north side of White Rock Lake, the beautiful senior living facility where I have spent many, 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 many hours as my parents were both here. It's a great spot. Lucky to be here, glad to be here once again. And what time is the Stars game start on Friday?
1 o'clock.
We think 1 o'clock.
Okay.
It's in Finland, so the time difference is, we don't really know.
It's tough to tell,
yeah,
right?
It's impossible.
You should know the score of the game before it starts.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then you bet heavy.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how time travel works.
Now, if they were playing in Germany, you'd have to make my bed.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Ah.
It's confusing, but if you know science like we do, it's not.
Well, yeah, right.
They
When I
play
think
at
of our
noon.
top scientists, I think of
Once you get those basic concepts down, you're able to apply them.
Exactly. Exactly. It's just a few weeks of learning.
Noon on Friday Central Time.
Hello?
I mean,
Oh,
anyone that
noon.
can
Yeah.
Okay.
learn how to smoke a bowl out of a Taco Bell soft taco like
Yeah.
Corby can.
Yo.
You're a scientist.
Thank you.
Hey, now.
Is that Bob from the 18th?
It's my OnStar.
Yeah, were you on the lake?
It's my OnStar.
So you got to return the cart real fast, and then you'll be on the way.
Oh, no, he's got to be using Part 2D2 today.
Did you
Those
go the
beer
wrong place
cans
to
away.
live again?
We just got to go over our scorecards. I'll be right there.
Oh, okay.
Ham?
This is not the golf droid you wanted.
Start out the day by effing it up. Anyway,
All right, go ahead.
Carry on.
Today is Wednesday, October 30th, 30th day of October, the 304th day of 2024. 62 days are left in the year on this date. In 1919, MLB League president calls for the abolishment of the spitball.
Gross.
It's time.
Taking all the humanity out of the game.
I think that same year
Here we go.
in softball they eliminated the slip ball.
Slip?
What is
Okay, double.
what is that?
Okay.
Y'all know how many pacemakers you just set off?
Yeah.
I was expecting like a Hot Tua joke or
Whoa.
I don't know.
I was worried we were going to go with the other female it.
You just take the
Really
ball
worried
and you
about
go back to front.
I was going to go with I just was going to go with a different fluid.
Yeah.
This guy's deal.
He's gotta, yeah.
I don't know.
Boy, could you imagine the spin rate on that one?
Bob, you need to
Split finger fastball.
You need to go. You need to put your phone on your ear. You're kind of feeding back a little bit.
Welcome to radio.
I don't
Yeah.
have a cell phone. My cell phone's lost.
We know, Hammer.
On this date, 1938, the radio play "The War of the Worlds" starring Orson Welles aired on the CBS radio network.
People were so dumb. They
You
thought
would-
that aliens
I don't know.
were really
How long is that
invading.
thing?
You would have fallen for it too. Don't you have the perspective of 100 years?
People are
What do you
so
think?
much
You'd have been
smarter
like,
now.
like everyone's freaking out, but you would have been sitting there going, "Whatever, this is stupid."
That was the original ball sack.
Yeah.
And your uncommon street smarts.
And it's Orson Welles. He's got that great voice.
I would have seen.
Wouldn't
right
that
through
tip
it.
you off,
I
though,
would
a
have
little
sniffed
bit
out
that
that
As your
not
parents
real?
are grabbing you and you're 4 years old and
Going down to the cellar.
Yes.
Like, why would
Yeah,
they get
'cause
There's no
Orson
community
Welles
note
to
on
Aliens
tell
don't
me?
know to look in cellars.
It's just kid stuff.
Idiots.
Again, we didn't have the perspective that you have, like on E.T. and things like that.
I mean, it must have been a field day for pedophiles that day.
You would have, you know what? You were ready to run out there and do the Will Smith. What was it? Welcome to America. Or what would he say?
Welcome to Earth.
Welcome to Earth.
Yeah. Dumbest thing
Welcome
ever.
to America.
We don't speak for any other countries here. Welcome to America. On this date, 1974, a couple things. One,
Getting jiggy with it.
the Texas Chainsaw Massacre premiered. Also,
Terrible.
Muhammad Ali knocked out George Foreman in the 8th round of a scheduled 15-round bout known as the Rumble in the Jungle.
Man, those are good times.
Was that before or after the Thrilla in Manila?
Was that after?
I don't know.
I don't know the timeline.
Ali Boumbaye.
Ali Boumbaye.
What name?
On this date in 1997, Violet Palmer made professional sports history, becoming the first woman to officiate an NBA game. Little reaction by the crowd when her name was announced just before tip-off of the game between the Dallas Mavericks and Vancouver Grizzlies.
Yay!
Well, definitely just one yay.
She took
Grizzlies
over
had to
where
move after that.
She took over where her mother, Rosie Palmer, could not.
All right.
Was that the game where she was flirting with Luka?
Not the same lady.
I think that was the lady from last night.
Yeah, it was.
That's right. And in 2018, notorious gangster James Whitey Bulger found beaten to death at a federal prison in West Virginia.
Bulger.
How old was he? Like 90? Somebody beat him up at 90?
He's pretty old.
Like if you killed like 30 people, but you made it to 100.
Bulger.
Can you still like just wipe them out and feel good about it?
A lot of people said don't trust Whitey.
Many people.
One P1 birthday today. Dear Hardline 5.0, today is the 69th birthday of SMU graduate, former CEO of Virgin America, newly appointed board member, huge Hardline 5.0 P1, David Cush. Leaders are Corby, Bob, Dave, and the kick-ass first place in the ACC SMU Mustangs. Drop request, Grego's interrogation of the once great, now deceased #1 cop, David Kunkel. Stay hard from Big Red.
We were talking with the #1 cop in Dallas, the #1 cop, the commissioner, chief of police, David Kunkel. What, do you like this gig?
No, I love my job. It's
that wasn't the question. Do you like your job?
No, I said, do I love? Maybe I didn't understand the question.
Okay, I mean, do you like being chief of police?
Sounds like he's trying to expose a fraud.
Did the DPD go away from ranking all of their police?
I think
well,
so.
I'll tell you what,
If you're
he
a
definitely
fraud,
sniffed
they're going to
something.
sniff you out.
Well, happy birthday to David Cush, who is a long time friend. P1, one of the more higher up, well-respected business types that have ever listened to our show, and we appreciate it.
Grego was on something a little bit harder than the Cush.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
God, what a great last name, Cush.
Yeah.
What if my name was
Right.
Corby Cush?
Oh, man.
That'd be so great.
That should be your radio name. What are we doing?
I know.
Hey, my middle name is Purple.
Corby Cush in the afternoons. Fire one up. Happy hour.
It's 4:20. Light one up with me, bros. Man. Dick Vermeil, 88.
Okay,
These players. Jeez.
Quinn Snyder, speaking of, 58. He's
Quinn?
done some coke.
So handsome.
Edge is 51. The wrestler.
Edging?
Yeah, he named himself after getting right to the brink.
The precipice.
Then you back off.
Precipice.
Nastia Lukin, 35.
And Bono was just short for boner.
Doesn't she live here
Plano?
now?
Yeah.
Plano, Frisco?
I once saw her at an event. I think
Oh, yeah?
I think we
Yeah?
shared something.
Okay.
Yeah.
She wanted to pommel your stump.
Hi.
I mean, if you're
How
looking
long
for a
would you
little practice.
last? You had the...
I mean,
She pommeled.
That is
she
the
would,
first
she would need a
Jaden Hardy shirt
poncho.
I've seen.
Pretty badass, isn't it?
Wasn't expecting that.
Here's an
I
umbrella.
don't know why. I
Marcus
should have
Mariota,
expected it.
31.
Like when you
1-2.
when you get to a senior living place, you're going to be wearing your Fear the Deer shirts and things like that, right?
Yeah, but Jaden Hardy feels.
We're impressed.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
impressed. The credibility is off the charts.
She goes deep.
Yeah.
Devin Booker, 28.
Boo.
Kale McCarr, 26.
Bitch. Hale McCarr. Wow. 26.
Grace
Where's
Could have been a
McCarr?
star.
is 85 of Jefferson Airplane and Starship. Henry
What about
Winkler,
Heath
79.
Nobu.
Barry Zuckerkorn.
Oh, who was the Jefferson Airplane person?
Grace Slick.
Oh, okay, never mind. The dude singer.
Jefferson.
Your McCalkinen?
Yeah.
Marty Ballin?
John Jefferson?
Marty Ballin.
Marty Ballin?
Yeah.
No. I'll think of it.
I think it's John Jefferson.
Dan Marino.
Andrea Mitchell, 78.
Mickey Thomas. Mickey Thomas.
Chris
Whenever we
Slade.
get around to Dave Land,
Also
I have a
78.
Mickey Thomas story.
That's hot.
Write that down.
Timothy B. Schmidt, 77.
The Eagles.
About
Plays
Schmidt.
for the Eagles. Leon Rippey is 75. You would know him as Tom Nuttall in Deadwood.
He's the son of Rodney Allen Rippey, is he not?
Joey Belladonna, 64, singer of Anthrax.
Bring the noise.
Gavin Rossdale is 59.
Noted tennis fan.
Always made me uncomfortable when he was in Federer's box.
Breathe in, breathe out.
And the best part was to see Gwen Stefani at a Wimbledon final, like one of the most high-pressured sports events that we have, especially in the Europes, and she would rather be anywhere else, twiddling her thumbs. That's why he divorced her. Gave her to Blake Shelton.
Enough?
Yeah.
Passed her off to Blake.
Yeah, here, you take her.
5.
Like it's a dog. Tony Bellici is 54.
He rehomed her.
Or Tori Bellici.
In Tuttle, Oklahoma.
The non-Asian from Mythbusters. Ben Bailey, 54, the host of Cash Cab.
Okay.
Turning
good for a
43
minute.
today, Ivanka Trump. Wasn't my daughter.
Ooh.
Born on this day, now dead. John Adams.
Is that JQA or just JA?
JQA.
Jaw Adams.
Christopher Columbus.
Boo.
Discovered the new world.
And speaking of
He's a
cocaine,
colonizer.
born on this day, now
Because there were
dead.
people living there already doesn't mean anything.
Diego Maradona.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Oh, man.
I almost saw him in Dallas
So much cocaine.
until the cocaine took it away. I was there, though.
Bye, ladies.
Wasn't your fault.
Bye, Justin.
Broadcasting live from the TXU Energy Mothership at Victory Plaza, hard by the AAC.
DEATH. What does that spell? Death, 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 death.
It is trifecta time to remember those who have recently passed away, taking a moment to consider how much they mattered and whether they have the credentials to gain a room in a 3-bedroom apartment in the sky. We are joined by our Chief Justice, Donovan Lewis, I would imagine. Hello, Donnie Doo.
Hello, Hardline.
There he is, Tiny Donnie. And we are brought to you by...
No one.
Oh, okay. My bad.
It's okay.
Thought we were.
No, you weren't listening.
Brought to you by Donovan.
Okay, so,
Welcome.
Donnie, this is going to be a tough sell, I think, for anybody back there
And me.
at the mothership. Okay, but let me just start off by saying this. When it comes to legendary legacy acts in the world of rock and roll, how many bands do you have to go through before you get to the Grateful Dead? And I'm talking about just based on what you guys know as far as their impact, their history, their legacy, all of it. The list is pretty short. Like, even if it's top 20, for me it's top 10, but if for you guys, it has to be top 20. Again, not what you like, Dave.
No,
this is not what you
like.
like.
What would your question be? Like, what?
You're talking about just about longevity?
I'm talking about impact. I'm talking about, global impact. I'm talking about
federal impact.
I'm talking about their impact on other bands that have done the same thing, where this has continued on and on and on. The biggest touring act literally over the last 50 years.
Right.
Period. End of story.
They invented a genre.
Yes, they did.
Jam bands wouldn't exist without the Dead.
No. I mean, that definitely makes the Grateful Dead, just on name impact alone,
even from outsiders like you guys, a top 20 act of all time.
Okay, so Jerry Garcia in.
Right, and that's where things get dicey. Now, Donovan, I don't know if you know anything about the Grateful Dead other than it's a bunch of hippies dancing around.
I can tell you.
Yeah, when I was asked about who was going to be up today, and Phil Lesh was the name, and I said, who is that? And then DJ wrote Uncle Phil Lesh, and I'm interested if it's Uncle Phil Lesh.
Yeah.
It is not Uncle Phil Lesh. It is just Phil Lesh.
Uncle Phil would be in, though.
The bass player for the Grateful Dead, an original member of the Dead, born in Berkeley, California, Bob, in 1940, goes to Cal Berkeley to study music.
Oh, not to play football?
He was not an athlete. Shocker that one of the Grateful Dead members was not an athlete. He goes to Berkeley to study music. He plays violin. He switches over to trumpet. He plays guitar. He is kind of all over the map. He hosted a radio show at Berkeley. And at that point, when he was a recording engineer at volunteering at the campus radio station, he met Jerry Garcia, who, of course, is what everybody recognizes the linchpin of the Grateful Dead. And Garcia was a bluegrass guy. They didn't really have similar musical interest, but they became really good friends. And so Jerry is trying to put together this band in the mid-'60s, early 60s, and knew that Phil Lesh was an accomplished musician, and he liked him, which is kind of the most important part. He goes, we're looking for a bass player. Do you know how to play bass? Lesh goes, I have no idea how to play bass. And he goes, you're our bass player. And so Phil Lesh, if you can pick up an instrument and you can play it proficiently that's not the bass, I think you could probably pick up the bass pretty quickly. And so Lesh...
No offense to bass players.
No, not at all, but they'll tell you the same thing. And obviously the great ones are the great ones. There are McCartney's, Flea, indeed.
Getty.
I believe Rolling Stone had Phil Lesh as the 8th best bass player on the planet in their rankings of bass players. He's really, really good, but he started when he was in his early 20s learning how to play the instrument and joined the band, what they think, they're not really sure, memories vary, on their 3rd or 4th gig ever. And he stayed until the very, very end when they played their final shows together at Wrigley Field back in 2016 or 17. I can't remember.
Were they the Grateful Dead out of the gate, or
no,
did they have other iterations?
They were the Warlocks. They started out as the Warlocks, and then things changed, and they became
Dungeons and Dragons of them.
And yeah, they're total nerds, total musical nerds. They came from all different musical backgrounds, but they formed this thing and this improvisational style that they created instantly became this drawing card on the West Coast. And San Francisco turned into the hippie town in the United States. Everybody wanted to go out there, and everybody who wanted to go out there wanted to go see the Grateful Dead. They wanted to go see a Dead show. And Phil Lesh was at the very center of it. And Lesh became one of the harmonizers in the band. He became a partial songwriter. Probably their most successful record was American Beauty, and the lead track off American Beauty was a song, or is a song, called Box of Rain, and you can play it. And this is Phil Lesh singing. And Phil wrote the song, he sang the song, and it is one of their most legendary songs. Crank it up.
Look out of any window, any morning, any evening, any day. Maybe the sun is shining, birds are winging, no rain is falling from a heavy sky. What do you want me to do for you, to see you through? For this is all a dream we dreamed one afternoon long ago.
It's an awesome jam. It's a great live jam. It's got a really good groove. And by the time
I can smell patchouli right now.
By the time I was of age to go to concerts, there was no doubt that I was going to hit up a Grateful Dead show at some point in my life. I had read way too much about them, and I knew that would be an incredible scene. And so I think my sophomore year in college, finally got to go see a show up in Kansas City, and we sat right in front of Phil Lesh, and we were about 10 rows back, and it was absolutely one of the most incredible days of my entire life. He stayed with the band through the very end, like I said, and then the band splintered off, and John Mayer became part of Dead and Company, and Mayer took over the Jerry Garcia parts. Well, Phil Lesh, by this time, he had battled cancer multiple times. He had a really bad back issue, and he was like, I can't tour anymore, and so you guys go have fun and keep doing this Dead thing as long as you want to. And so he is kind of, I've seen Dead and Company probably 4 or 5 times, and Phil hadn't been a part of that scene. But he was until, like I said, until the very, very end. The amount of shows that guy played, they were a constant touring force. You're talking about playing 150 shows a year, every single year from 1965 until, 2000 whatever, when they finished things out. It was an absolute machine. And, he was a part of it. The dude was probably worth $100 million by the time it all ended. He was also instrumental, if this sounds like a shocker, in getting LSD involved in the band. And as he said, he was like, I always knew whenever we discovered LSD that this was our thing. We couldn't get too messed up, but we certainly could get messed up enough to open up our minds musically and spiritually to draw the crowd in. And those shows, those Dead shows, for anybody who went, and Bill Walton obviously is like the poster boy of it all, they were such meaningful events for so many people for so many years. And again, Lesh was at the forefront of everything. So
net worth $60 million.
Is that what they have? It's got to be more. Those guys are cash cows, but whatever. Rich beyond their wildest dreams. Inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as a member of the Dead in 1994. And, yeah, Phil Lesh passed away at the age of 84. 2 kids, I do believe. 1 wife that he met at a Berkeley coffee shop. Oh. She was serving him. And, yeah, Phil Lesh, dead at the age of 84. I don't know if that would sway anybody back there. Donovan, if that impresses you at all.
Donnie's last. So let's start with Lando, who's a bass player himself.
That's right.
I would like to vote yes.
Deej?
I'm going to say no.
Emphatically no.
Why?
Because he sucks.
Okay, see,
he's a spare part in a band that you like. They could replace him with anybody.
See, I don't know. I don't know if that's fair. I'm not into the Grateful Dead at all. But I would consider Rolling Stone to be a pretty important source in this matter. And in greatest bass players of all time, he's above John Paul Jones and Flea.
That's insane.
And right below...
No, it's not.
Right
below,
you
know nothing about them.
Paul McCartney.
But I know about John Paul Jones. He's a better bass player than this guy.
You don't know. You have no idea.
I just listened to the song. It sucks.
Such an idiot.
The point is, a source that is much smarter than I am about this claims he's a fringe top 10 bass player of all time, so I'm going to take their...
In the history of music,
I feel like that's what the trifecta must be about. So I'm going to say blind in based on their endorsement.
I could not pick him out of a lineup.
Nor could I.
And I know Jerry Garcia and I know Bob Weir, and that's it. So I say no.
Okay. So just being part of the band. Like if you're just part of the Rolling Stones.
Yeah. That doesn't.
If you're not
give
Keith
you a
or
rubber,
Mick,
that doesn't give you a rubber stamp. Okay.
No, but this list does independently rate his quality, Dave. I'm not trying to convince you with a list from the internet, but Rolling Stone is not saying the band; they're saying Phil Lesh.
Sure, and I can
That's
appreciate.
a crap list.
I can appreciate that he is renowned among his peers, but this is not a Trifecta Lakes is not the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Okay.
All right. I'm putting him in. So does that?
Oh no! Is it up to me?
Is that? Do we have a three-way tie?
We may have the first
we have
recorded.
first
dear.
decisive
This might
vote
be
from
the
Donnie.
first time where Donovan has to bang his gavel and make a decision.
Okay, could you guys repeat everything you said because I fell asleep when the song was playing?
Oh my God!
Yes.
That's a bad sign.
The 8th greatest
Man,
bass
this-
player in the history of the world, Donovan.
I have not said whether I was going to say yes or no. This power is intoxicating.
Well,
I don't know what to do with it.
We'll smell it all up.
I know nothing. When you introduced this and said, if you start naming influential rock bands, I can't get to 20 without the Grateful Dead. And I'm sorry, Corby, I don't know how long I can go before I would even think about the Grateful Dead.
That might have been superlative.
It's not.
I know, absolutely.
Amongst music people, there is no doubt that these guys are a top 20 legacy band of all time. There's no doubt.
And if we were music people,
like
I voted them in.
I know.
Don't turn
I'm not.
on me.
I'm not.
I did. I want to leave it to Donovan.
Yeah, sorry, man. I'm going to have to say no. I just don't know.
No.
I get it. I know what you're saying, and I know that influence. I just don't think
Phil
that
Lesh.
I can honestly say I can give the bass player of the Grateful Dead entry into the trifecta if we go through all the criteria. I understand what you're saying. I know
One
you're
of the
passionate about
core
it. It moves
four members of the
nothing
Dead.
for me.
I know. The nays have
Donnie just pushed him in the forehead and knocked him off a cloud straight into hell.
I want to apologize to all my friends out there, all of my fans out there, and especially to the Grateful Dead.
It was actually Dikembe
really did your
Mutombo who
best.
opened up the apartment next door and said, no, no, no.
He's above. Check this out, Ham. He's above Geddy Lee.
Yeah, 24. This is a crap list.
And Cliff Burton. Rest in peace.
Yes.
And there was one more I wanted to point out that he's Sting.
Duh.
Lemmy.
Duh.
I mean, some bass legends here, but
no,
it's not to be.
No, he's not as good as Stain's bassist or whatever Ham likes.
Now, I haven't seen Michael Anthony on this list at all, so just the fact that he had a Jack Daniels bass, a bottle of Jack Daniels as his bass, probably should put him on this list.
Robert Wolonsky says, I hate the Dead, and I'd say yes.
Well, he's not on the panel.
No, he's not. All right, there you go. Phil Lesh.
Thanks, Donnie.
A very rare out.
Very controversial.
Thank you, Donovan. I hate you.
But we did prove as a jury we would not vote everybody in.
That's true. That's true.
Corby's going to be depressed the rest of the show, though.
Maybe for the rest of my life.
I can smell the disappointment from him, and I don't know if I can handle it or not.
We'll call back if you change your mind.
Yeah. I'm never eating acid with any of you guys. That's it.
Oh, boy, I'm glad you said
I
acid.
voted yes, Corby.
I wasn't going to do the first one either. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right.
Here is Dave.
Thank you. All right,
Gen X
so
Davey.
no new Diddy news today. I think we need a break. But there is a new lawsuit against another very famous rapper, Metro Boomin.
Oh,
he is a super producer, and he has had huge hits with Future and 21 Savage in the last year or so.
Okay.
He has been accused of rape.
Now, is that his birth name?
His birth name is Leland T. Wayne.
No, it's not Metro Boomin Curtis or something?
No, he Metro Boomin is a stage name.
Ah.
Corby Kush.
Okay, cool.
So this was filed yesterday in L.A. by a woman named Vanessa LeMaster. She is 38, and she claims that she met him in 2016 during a trip to Las Vegas. And she was kind of coping with the death of her 9-month-old son.
Mm-hmm.
That was still fresh in her mind. And so she is kind of confiding in Leland or Metro, whichever one you want to call him.
Medi.
Kind of confiding in him, and they're kind of bonding over their trauma and loss and depression. and he was talking about his own depression, saying that he had just broken up with his long-term girlfriend. So she was given a shot of alcohol. She also took half a Xanny, to cope with her anxiety. Next thing she knows, she wakes up in a bed in a completely different location with Metro. And she is completely unable to move or make a sound.
Yes.
You know what? You're right. We had a discussion in San Francisco that there's a lot of raping going on out there.
Yeah. All the time.
Not out there. In general, in the entertainment world.
Yeah. So she says at no point during the encounter was she able to consent to any of the activity. And then a few weeks after the assault, she found out she was pregnant, which she took care of. She did not have Metro's booming baby.
As is her right as a human.
And then a year later, so this is the insult to injury. So she says 1 year later, Metro Boomin releases a song called Rap Saved Me. And it includes the lyrics, "She took a Xanny, then she fainted. She drive me crazy, have my baby."
Ew.
So she's like, he's recounting.
Is this guy like super rich and stuff?
He is now.
He was involved in the Drake battles of the summer with Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, did he write some of that stuff? Was he, whose side was he on?
He was
definitely,
on Kendrick's side.
He's very much a foe of Drake's.
Yeah.
Okay.
So she is asking for a jury trial and damages. So that's that.
Okay.
Here is some good news for you, Snake.
Okay.
As Zoe Kravitz and Channing Tatum have ended their engagement.
Very good news for me.
After a 3-year relationship and I believe about a year-long engagement.
You know why? I can tell you right now exactly why this happened. She was 100% ashamed of Gambit.
You think so?
Yes. She'd had enough of that dumb character that served no purpose.
Like he's doing that voice around the house. And she's like, will you please stop?
Right. You gonna make me some gumbo.
So they first connected on the set of Blink Twice, her directorial debut in 2021, and they quickly became inseparable. And then they started dating, and then they got engaged.
They never got married?
No. Recently, she's been spotted in public without her engagement ring.
Okay, who has more trouble getting... Does she have more trouble getting a guy, or does he have more trouble getting a girl?
They equally have zero trouble.
None at all?
No.
Like they could go to a Wendy's and just pick out whoever they wanted, right?
He's Magic Mike.
Yeah. But she's Zoe Kravitz.
I know.
And what if, like... Oh, man, you get to hang out with Lenny. There's just so much to it.
And this is the same day as the announcement that they are both cast in a new movie, a sci-fi comedy called Alpha Gang, with Cate Blanchett, Dave Bautista, Steven Yeun, and Riley Keough. Okay. So they're still going to work together. Evidently, it's somewhat amicable.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about a lot of these stories that you hear about breakups in that world is that it's just kind of like part of it. It's like, okay,
it's like high school. You still got to deal with each other.
Yeah, but it's just kind of like
you run in the same clips.
Hey, good luck. You know, I know that the next guy you date is probably going to be hotter than me, and the next girl I date will be hotter than you. It's all good. It doesn't matter. We had fun. Like I remember when Jack White got divorced, he had a party. They had a celebration of their marriage for divorce. And he was like, yeah, we had a great time. It was a good 5-year run. Come to the party. Like, it's just so weird the way that the celebs approach these things.
It's sad.
Or is it?
Not good news for you.
Oh, no. After Phil Lesh didn't get into the trifecta, you've got worse news?
Yeah, I've got worse news. Giselle is pregnant.
Oh, my God.
Isn't she
40?
50?
She's 44.
Okay.
And the father is Joaquim Valente, the 37-year-old jiu-jitsu
Joaquin
instructor.
Felix. Okay. Is she just trying to make him mad?
Okay, I'm going to get to that. So she says that they've been dating since June 2023. And so she denied that they had a romantic relationship, that they were just close friends, and that he would travel with the family and he would basically be their traveling trainer.
Yeah.
She says that a love connection started in February of 2024. Then she backdated that to June 2023. So that's all that she has admitted to. But Tom Brady, he says, or he has insinuated that Giselle was unfaithful in their marriage and that she had started this relationship with Joaquin years ago.
How do you meet a jiu-jitsu trainer? Are you training for jiu-jitsu?
I think you're
onto something.
I think you look up jiu-jitsu on Google.
I just don't see her as a jiu-jitsu warrior.
trainers near me.
Well, it starts with I just want to add to some self-defense skills.
Some cardio.
The next
different
thing,
cardio.
you're rolling around on the ground, and your
grappling.
eyes meet.
At 44, isn't there a point where the uterus doesn't work anymore? Like, she's right on the edge,
No,
right?
I mean, she's a supermodel, so she has a super uterus.
It's true. She's like an Avenger.
Right.
She has an Avenger uterus.
Yeah, I don't know if they were doing IVF, if this was a planned pregnancy, or if he just jiu-jitsu right up in there.
This was not a planned pregnancy.
You're
There's
saying like
no
a
way.
hip toss might have turned into a pregnancy?
Right, yeah.
Huh.
Like he pinned her too hard. So
what is jiu-jitsu?
What is it?
It's a
I
martial
know, but like,
art.
can you tell me the difference between that and karate
Okay,
and
all
kung
right.
fu?
Jiu-jitsu, to the best of my knowledge, is
Isn't it
mostly
South
done,
American?
It's mostly done on the ground. Well, Brazilian is a strain of it for sure.
Oh, is this something that you see in your little MMA thing?
Your little MMA thing.
He's just mad about the
he's lashing out
travel
about
day at the
Lesh.
World Series. Yeah, and Lesh and just everything. Luca swearing. It's all got
So
Kirby.
a couple notes on Brady. He had a cryptic post on Instagram that everybody is saying is related to the announcement of the pregnancy. He shared a photo. See how maudlin this is. He shared a photo of a setting sun, and then in the background he put as music Fleetwood Mac's Landslide, the cover version by the Chicks, and the lyrics that he had pulled out were, "Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides?"
What is he worried about?
Well, evidently, he knows that this was going on for a long time, and that the source close to them says Tom and Joaquin are not friends, but Joaquin is around Tom's kids, so Tom has to find the good in him and believe he's a good guy to try and keep the co-parenting situation all kosher.
Would you guys like to see that as the opening match before Jake Paul and Mike Tyson?
Joaquin and Tom Brady?
Yes.
Sure. I put money on Joaquin.
Would that raise interest for the Tyson fight?
Hell yes.
Yeah, I don't think he wants any part of that.
Oh, by the way, Tom Brady also got in trouble for a comment in the Bills-Seahawks game on Sunday, talking about Josh Allen. He said,
"Sometimes he plays like a spaz, like a high school grade schooler on a sugar high."
You can't say spaz?
No, because it's short for spastic, like spasms, people who have motor issues.
Do you think Spastic Eric could still be Spastic Eric?
Yeah.
Somebody said somebody's got to tell Tom he can't say that on TV.
What about the character from, was it Meatballs?
Meatballs from 1981.
Oh, is that not current?
Are you saying things from 80s movies might be problematic
Well,
today?
the main kid at the camp was named Spaz.
Okay, last thing before we go, because we got Joel Klatt coming up. Bad news again for you.
Yeah.
Joe Exotic is engaged.
Oh, so I can't get engaged to him?
Yeah. He introduced
Let's
his
just focus mostly on Zoe.
He introduced his fiancée on social media with a photo saying, "Meet Jorge Marquez. He's 33. He's so amazing and is from Mexico."
No way.
Now the quest of getting married in prison and getting him asylum, or we'll leave America when we both get out. Either way, I wish I could have met him long ago. before his first husband blew his own head off and his second husband divorced him.
Yes, as it's in the coroner's report.
And
all
that's
right,
your E-News.
There you go, Dave. Thank you very much. All right, thank you very much. So Saturday was a pretty glorious day in hardline land. Dave, we certainly missed you. But we had a good day. We had things kind of all planned out where the main attraction was to head to a place that none of us had ever been to before. I'd been to Berkeley, but I'd never been to the campus of Cal. That's a shot. Right after Phil Lesh, too. Unbelievable. But he
didn't wear shoes the entire day.
But I'd never been to the campus. I'd never been to the stadium. And lo and behold, when we planned this trip, Bob found it pretty quickly that Cal was playing Oregon State. And so away we went.
Yes.
About 45 minutes away from where we were staying, right across the Bay Bridge. The bridge, Dave, if you remember, collapsed during the 1989 World Series earthquake. The top part went right down onto the bottom part.
Did a car or two go into the sea that day? I feel like
so.
I
don't know how they could have avoided
it. Ended very poor. Well, the bottom platform I think stayed
held together.
I think so, but obviously not if a car or two ended up in the sea. We should look into that.
Yeah, whatever. It was gruesome and horrific and all that. And I've been over that bridge 3 times now, and it's all I think about is we're cruising over it. Is just like, oh, okay. Just keep going, a little faster.
The whole Bay Area is just one big bridge. It's just bridge after bridge after bridge. And
how do they build it?
And all we can think of is, A, how do they build any of these back when they built them? And B, our demise as our call of the void, Dave. Like that, I don't know how bridges don't make you call the void.
Especially out there in that sea.
Yeah.
So we head out to Berkeley, and both you guys had a pizza joint in mind that we went to. Very quaint town, like super college-y feel, real small downtown area. Very, I guess quaint is the proper word. Just cutesy, artsy, fartsy, restaurants, bars, shopping. Nothing real chain-related, though.
Berkeley population 125, huh?
Pretty small.
Wow.
Pretty small. The campus, or I guess the enrollment's big, though. It's about 30 or 40, and it's, for those who don't know, it is very high-minded. You have to be a smarty pants of the highest smarty pant to get into that school.
Is there a school in the United States that would be considered more liberal?
It's always had that tag. Is it still, though? I mean, do kids go there?
Yet it produced Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, that's pretty strange.
Ironically.
Yeah. And so we had a yummy couple of slices of pizza. We asked our bartender how far away the stadium was because we were flying blind, dude. We had no idea. And
we weren't worried about much because we got to the pizza place 90 minutes before kickoff. And
it's not like there's a line to get in.
Well, and then we casually ate our pizza. Did you
have to fight through the 10,000 Oregon State fans that had driven down?
I think he meant 10.
There were about 100, maybe. You could count them in the stadium.
When he said 10,000, he meant 10.
So the lady at the pizza parlor told us, because we were like, how far away is the stadium? We couldn't see it or anything. It's up on the hills, as Joel Klatt was just describing to us, but we couldn't see the stadium. And she goes, oh, yeah, you can't walk. It's a long walk. You could probably take a bus. To which I turn to DJ and I say, I am bus people. I can do this. And DJ frowned at me.
Just disgusting for you to try to latch onto that.
Yeah.
I'm the only one with recent experience on the bus. So, but we're like, we're not taking the bus. We have our car. The one thing that drove me crazy as we left our place was that I forgot all credentials that I have stuffed in my bag, whether it's from Super Bowls or World Series or anything. Spring training, the NFL draft. I always keep them in the car just in case we might encounter an episode like this.
Right. It's like you're like a little satchel of disguises.
Yes.
Like you're a spy.
Right, exactly, right. Well, I forgot all of that. And we didn't have anything. Bob didn't, DJ didn't. We don't have a card. We have nothing denoting that we are media.
We had 3 cheap tickets and nothing to tell them who we were.
Yeah, you just look like dudes.
Except DJ was wearing a ticket quarter zip.
Right. So nothing. And so we keep driving, having no idea where we're going. All right? But
GPS doesn't work?
Well, yeah. We knew the stadium was close, so we were just kept going toward it. Well, there comes a big intersection in which the cops are everywhere, and there's blockades and everything like that, and on the side of the road you see a sign that says, must have proper pass to go forward, meaning this was the primo lot to get into, and if you didn't have the credentials to get in, they were not going to let you in.
And,
so,
of course, Corby has to try.
Yeah, well, I mean, honestly, if you're riding with Corby, you want Corby to try because you've seen it work so many times.
But we have nothing on
But no props this time.
We had 0 props.
It's like Carrot Top walking out on stage with nothing.
He forgot his suitcase back at his hotel room.
Right. And so we pull up, we get to the intersection, and people are flashing their parking passes and things like that, and they're letting them through, and then we see people turning off that don't have it. And so we wave the police officer over, and I'm in the passenger seat at this point, and I roll down the window, and I said, he looks at me, and he's like, can I help you? Or where's your credential or your pass? I'm like, we actually need to go to media will call to pick it up.
Yeah.
Can you assist us where that is? And he was like, man, that's over in the Randolph lot. You're not even close. And I go, well, what am I supposed to do? You know, what? Here I am.
Yeah.
And he said,
the game can't start without us.
And he said, you need to call your contact. We can't let you through. And I go, okay, well, which way is media will call? And he goes, you're going to have to turn around, go back the other direction, go down the hill, take a right. I mean, it was a whole thing, and I'm like, oh, my God.
Now, is this where you mentioned Pam from ESPN?
No.
No, not yet.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I spoiled that Pam is waiting for us.
Pam? Did you say Pam?
So I go, look, well, okay, if you're making us turn around, how do we do it? Because we're blockaded in, we're at a 4-way intersection, how do we go? He goes, I'll let you through, just go up the little hill 50 yards away, turn around. And
do you think we turned around?
Don't floor it and go around the corner when he's not looking.
And so we go, and Bob goes, go, keep going. And on we go up this hill.
Yeah.
And we see, as we get up this hill, we're kind of turning around waiting for the cops to follow us or whatever. We get out of their sight, and there's a split off in the road. To the right, there is another parking guy, where the people with the ultimate passes
checkpoint 2
go to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let's just keep going past this guy because I don't want them to radio to this guy saying, do not let this car in. And so up the hill we went to the left instead of veering to the right to the parking lot. And as we go up the hill, we see Cal Berkeley Lab Experiment Building. And, dude, it was like getting into Fort Knox. There were huge fences and barricades and lighting. And, I mean,
the laboratory was Fort Knox.
Yes.
You're not getting in there.
This was the smartest people in the world doing the smartest experiments in the world.
That's right.
And
that's where they're creating new COVID.
And we asked DJ if he was prepared to be Scientist Ringenberg as we enter into this place to park.
And his beanie and his ticket quarters.
Right. He looked like the biggest stoner in the world. And so...
Yeah, actually, that's where they're creating the next hurricane.
Right
so
there.
It's going to be interesting.
At lab headquarters. So we have to turn back around, and then we're like, okay, we can't go back down the hill.
Right.
We've got to take a left and see if we can get in here with this other attendant into a lot that we were pretty sure was the best lot there was.
It's so close to the stadium, and it's so preferred parking that we just had to try.
So we pull in, and there's this guy, and he goes, can I help you? And I'm like, yeah, we were here for media overflow, and Pam from ESPN told us to come up here. And he looks at me, and he's like, what? I'm like, yeah, it's just media overflow lot, which is a standard tried and true thing for me to say.
Yes.
Media overflow.
Mhm.
We didn't have enough spots at the Cal game for the
that no one's at
10 media people to go to. And he looks at me and he goes, I've heard nothing about this. And I'm like, well.
You know Pam, don't you?
And I'm like, well, we have. So what do we do? And he kind of looks at me and throws his hands up in the air. I'm like, I'm just going to park down here. And he was just like, all right. And away we went.
Now, our parking spot here, Dave, is probably not as close as we got at Tiger Stadium, where we had the first parking stall next to, like, the pitcher's mound. But this one is so ideal. It's such a good, like, clearly the folks in there are the finest donors that Cal has and the most important officials. And, there we are with our little rental car and our dumb game get-together group that's just going to drop in 15 minutes before kickoff. And we just pull right in, and we park, and we walk right down the little path and right into the stadium.
I think we're all expecting to get caught at some point very quickly as well, because it was such a thrown-together excuse, and just kind of rolled through the guy as you were talking to him, and just
we're definitely
keep it going.
not dressed as important people. We're looking our normal Saturday selves.
DJ's right. I kind of kept rolling as we were talking to the guy. Finally he just kind of was like, whatever. What am I going to do here?
Yeah, he doesn't want to ruin his day.
No, exactly. We'd already gotten past the cops.
It's just if you can exhibit confidence.
That's it.
Albeit false confidence. Most people watching parking lots literally don't care.
Yeah, Pam at ESPN said that I was starting at safety today. I'm late. I got to get dressed.
Yeah, I don't have my pads on me right now, but I'm going to get them. So, we take the little walk down there.
So, like always, we have nothing with us, and we somehow end up parking at the finest spot at the stadium.
It was glorious. And we don't know how much parking would have cost. We don't even know how far the walk would have been. But I do know this walk down the hill. Up the hill was 3 minutes. Down the hill was about a minute and a half to get to the stadium. It was absolutely perfect. All right, so the journey continues as we enter the stadium and we encounter our first Aaron Rodgers sighting. Next.
Get the Steak Podcast at patreon.com/sportsgreek.
So we're in the middle of the story about going to Cal Berkeley for the weekend on Saturday to go see Cal Oregon State. We finagled our way into the best parking I think that Berkeley had to offer for the stadium. And then we walked over to the stadium itself, and
100 years old. 101.
100 years old. This thing was like 70,000 seats in the 20s.
I think it was built as a memorial to those who fought in World War I, Dave.
That's how old this was, and you can see the sign dedicated to our fallen heroes or soldiers, and I'm like, Vietnam? World War II maybe? No. This was World War I.
These boys were in the trenches.
God, man, it's so weird to see that. And up we went, and look, it's Berkeley, it's mid-October. The weather is absolutely perfect. You're comfortable in shorts and a T-shirt. You're comfortable in jeans and a hoodie. Whatever you want to wear, it's perfect.
Was Corby just twirling up the hill?
It was incredible.
His arms just swaying.
Yeah, he tried to hug a few trees, but we pulled him back with his leash. We kept him away. But it was it's weird because on one hand you could tell that barely anybody wanted to be part of this, and it gave you a really good look at how football. I realize, being a Big Ten guy, that football is big in places not named Texas, but in Texas, it is pretty over the top how much people care about this sport I love, and that goes for Friday nights, Saturdays, and Sundays, and it, you could say it's a religion people have, and to the point where you can get over 100,000 at two different places in this state for college football, several other big-time crowds in college football, and they can all be happening on the same day, and you don't run out of college football fans. California ain't that. I think it's very clear. We had two choices of games on Saturday. We could have gone to Stanford and sat with a 20% capacity crowd as they played Wake Forest, or we could have gone to Cal and sat with a 20% capacity at the most as they played Oregon State. And I know the 49ers are a big deal. I guess the Rams are sort of a big deal. The Chargers are not really. But on the college scene, I don't know, man. Maybe USC.
Dude, but USC's got to be good for them to care. They're not showing up like A&M. When they're bad, people are still showing up.
The football's good. The football religion part is just not a thing.
No, and there's other stuff to do.
Sure.
Like everything to do outside. And so I get it. I don't blame these people one bit for not being rabid sports fans because they have more things to do than we do. It's just a fact. And so playing Oregon State, too, and we get there and we're up at the very top of the bowl. And this is a classic sunken bowl up on a hillside, as Joel Klatt said, overlooking the water and the city and all that. And we get up there and we're going to go get because the sun was shining and it was bright. And even though it was 72 degrees outside, we were like, maybe a little steamy out here.
Well, and you have a bald friend. And
True.
And, this is where I was going to step in if we needed and talk about my skin issues and why I need to be in the shade. But I didn't even have to because everybody is so chill at the game and honestly not really bothered by it. But I have to be hat guy outside. I prefer to be sit in the shade guy outside and not have to wear a hat or pull up a hood or anything like that. Skin cancer is a real thing.
It is.
And I don't like to act like I've been battling it because that's not being
You don't want to
truthful.
claim to be a survivor?
No, I don't. I just, but I don't know that you can just say I'm trying to prevent it and they'll let you sit in the shade. But we just thought, let's take a shot. Let's. There's very small part of the stadium in shade, but let's see if we can sit in it.
Yeah, and we got our water, and as we start walking across the stadium to the shaded area pregame,
did they let you just walk across the field?
They probably could have, but I felt on the back of my heels something strike me, and I could feel the ground reverberate a little bit too, and I was like, the hell? And I turn around, or DJ and I turn around, and there is a woman who completely collapsed at my feet. And
like on the back of your legs.
Hit
kind of rolled up on you like an offensive lineman.
Truly. And
so you broke her fall, kind of.
Well,
he did.
You saved her life.
He absolutely did.
Her head, though, still hit the back of the concrete.
Ugh.
And
she fell face first or
back of the head.
And we turned around and looked at her, and her eyes were rolled back in the back of her head and, shivering or whatever you want to call that, like the REM sleep where your eyes are going crazy. That's what we saw on the ground. We were like, oh, my God. Now, DJ wanted to leave. I wanted to stay and help. And
good luck with your crap.
Well, there were medics there, and she was answering questions, but it did pose that weird mystery to all of us of so how long do
we have to stay?
Do we stand here?
Do you guys need to take a statement?
Yeah, very Curb Your Enthusiasm. Game's about to start.
We need to find a seat.
The shade's filling up over there.
I mean, I don't think we can help. I hope things turn out here well, but I got to grab a bottle of water before the game starts.
Right.
So
did she just faint?
I think so.
Yeah, or dehydrate. I don't know. She's a little older, would you say? Maybe in her 60s or so.
Yeah.
Bob thought it was a guy, of course.
It was.
He was judging.
It was Pat from Saturday Night Live might have fallen on Corby.
So we
fanny pack.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We head over to our seats. We realize that, look, we got to make this game interesting.
Yeah.
And so we asked DJ how much he has in his gambling account.
If he had one.
Yeah, hypothetically.
If he had one. And DJ, what was the answer to that?
I had about $207 in there.
That he could bet. That he was allowed to bet.
$207 hypothetical dollars.
Yes. And I immediately looked at Bob and we're like, not enough juice, man. Luckily,
we can't bet just 200 on this game.
We knew a guy in Vegas, Dave Lane, who randomly was in Vegas for the weekend, and we had the panic phone call of calling Dave and like,
get to an ATM now.
Go now.
Yeah, I pick up the phone. I'm like, why is Corby calling me as I am in the hotel room, lying on the bed, watching College Game Day or whatever, entertaining my kid.
Yeah, nursing him.
While my wife is getting ready in the bathroom, and I get this panicked call. Are you close to the sports book? Can you go now? I'll Venmo you $300. Go now. Go. So I have to alert Marissa, hey, I've got to go right this second and run downstairs for Corby and Bob.
Yeah, because Bob and I were splitting a $300 parcel to wager on this game.
Yeah, and so then I get down to the sports book, and they only have like 2 windows open with actual humans, and the line is 12 to 15 deep.
Oh, not enough time.
Yeah, and I was like, there's no way I'm going to get to the window before kick. And so I go over to the kiosks, and I had to get money out. So I already had my own money, and I was like, it's okay. They Venmo'd me, so I'm just going to transfer this money in my head to them.
Right.
It's not my money anymore. It's their money. And so I put it in the machine, and I pull up the bet slip, and I put $300 on Cal, and I hit enter, and it says, over the limit. It's like this kiosk does not allow bets of $200 or more.
Vegas, what are we doing here?
They're trying to keep us from winning.
I know,
yes.
But then I was like, well, I'll just split it into 2 tickets because it didn't matter.
Yeah,
it
right.
Didn't, it was just against the spread. It didn't matter, and so then I immediately take pictures of the slips to you, and like, you're good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then we got the picture, and Corby panicked because our line was -11. Your line was -13.
It had gone up, and we're like, oh no. And DJ was like, dude, maybe I should go all in on the other side.
Just to cover your bet?
On Oregon State. And we're like, no. We're all in this together. And so the hard line all in
Can't name a player on either team.
No.
Don't know anything about either team. But now we're laying 2 touchdowns to Oregon State just because we're bored.
Right. And the hard line all in went 500 in on Cal. It was such a great first half because at the half, Cal was up 31-0.
Yeah, you guys are just dancing in the stands.
We are high-fiving.
We were the biggest Cal Bear fans in the entire stadium.
We found out that their quarterback, what's his name?
Francisco Mendoza.
Yeah, Francisco Mendoza.
And SMU better be ready when he comes to town.
Bro, watch out for this kid. So Cal had lost 4 straight games. 3 of them were by like 2 points or less. Like, they're legit good. And they put an ass-whooping on Oregon State in that first half.
The first touchdown is worth finding. I should look for it online.
That's awesome, dude.
Because it kind of turned into a hook and lateral because he throws it out to the flat and the running back is locked up with a couple linebackers. So then the quarterback runs by him and he pitches it to the quarterback and the quarterback runs into the end zone.
Yeah.
How great.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Dude, it was so much fun. And we stayed through the third quarter.
We never broke a sweat. You're just sitting there looking at mountains and looking at unbelievable scenery, and your team keeps scoring touchdowns, and it was just it honestly was one of the coolest Saturday afternoons you could have.
We went to the...
I'm not saying the best college football atmosphere ever.
No.
But it was just a really fun, chill Saturday afternoon.
Well, and then I saw on...
in which we made $500.
I saw on the Soch that... second half, you went on a little walk.
Well, okay,
so
briefly, there is a spot at Cal where if you've ever watched games at Cal, and we have over the years because they did have Aaron Rodgers, they did have Jared Goff, they did have Marshawn Lynch, and so there was a time where they were sort of relevant, and we would watch games, and invariably they would talk about 2 things. One was the hippies living in the tree, so they don't cut the tree down right outside the stadium. I was unable to identify which tree it was, but I can report there are trees around that stadium, and if hippies saved it, good for them. The other thing that they always show when they do games at Cal is a place called Tightwad Hill, where up one of the mountains there's a cannon that they fire off because apparently you can't have a cannon inside a football stadium in California. So they go up on top of the mountain and they fire the cannon and, whatever.
Cannonball goes firing off
But
everywhere.
the point is it's up on a mountain overlooking the stadium, and you can actually see the entire field from cannon-adjacent positioning up on the mountain.
For free, hence Tightwad Hill.
So people actually do go up there rather than buying a ticket, which...
And what are the cheap tickets, like $10?
Our tickets on SeatGeek were like 20th row, 35-yard line for $35 each. And so
you have to be a real tightwad.
I'm sure you could have got in for $10, and you have to be a really tightwad, but it's kind of the tradition, I guess. So as we're leaving the stadium, I'm like, man, we gotta do it.
And luckily our parking
We're never going to be back here.
Was right next to Tightwad Hill. Literally, like, we walked 30 yards, and it was right there because we had the primo spot parking-wise.
Yes.
And it was really cool. Like, it's such a cool college thing to have something like that.
Yeah.
And, dude, like, when we were watching, they did the retrospective of certain Cal NFL players, and we were talking about Aaron Rodgers, and as we saw the players entering the stadium, they were entering through. We were in the stadium, outside the stadium. The players all run through the crowd, but they're coming out of Aaron Rodgers' locker room.
Yeah.
That's what it's named. He probably spent $10 million to refurbish
he's
it.
only made $300 million in the NFL, and he took a couple of those million and built a locker room.
Yes.
He gave back.
Yes, you know what? He's a very giving man.
Mm-hmm. And it was really cool,
Unlike
though.
Favre.
It was cool to see, but then they start doing the...
He's a very taking man.
Well, it evens out in the end.
And we were wondering, like, okay, when Aaron Rodgers was here, and they were badass. Like, they were top 5 when he was there. That's like one game in the Pac-12.
Mac Brown kept him out of the national title game.
He did. Mac Brown out of the Rose Bowl, which was,
Yeah.
But, yeah, and so, dude, it was one of those deals where, like, we were so focused on Aaron Rodgers, we forgot the other quarterback who played there in Jared Goff, and they put Detroit up on the screen, and they're running Detroit plays, and I was like, I wonder who on Detroit plays for Cal. Why are they showing so much? And they kept showing Jared Goff throwing. I'm like, God, is one of these receivers, did they go to... And they're like, oh, my God. And Bob goes, dude, we forgot he went to Cal.
He was the first pick in the draft in 2016.
Yeah. So they have history there?
Yeah.
Like, big history.
Big history.
I mean, how many schools have 2 quarterbacks that start in the NFL? One or 2?
Here we go. This is
yeah, that's right.
This is an Oklahoma
one has 5. I guess
Spencer Rattler doesn't count.
I guess second place is probably 2. But yeah,
that's
dude.
That's the only reason we're doing this.
That's the only reason we went to Cal. So get in the 5-second plug. But it was a great day, dude. We had such a good time, Dave. We missed you.
Yeah,
I missed you guys, but I'm glad that I was able to facilitate the big hardline win.
Well, and then Dave ends up later on that night.
Yeah, how much did you win? Roughly. How many points, hypothetical points, did you win?
Over 700.
From a bet of
It is
60.
The most successful, because we have been on a torrid losing streak.
Dave hit a 14 parlay.
Torrid losing streak. And suddenly the hardline comes back with thousands of dollars.
Yep. Yeah. I guess we can maybe talk about it in the cold tomorrow because it relates to Picks with Friends.
Okay.
But not only did you hit a 14 parlay, but my favorite part was your last leg was A&M.
Yeah. I was sweating it at halftime.
Which I just thought.
We were in the car, and he's like, he is freaking out over how he wants to shoot A&M.
Like, if you've ever seen Dave and A&M, you know it's a very spotty relationship, and now they're costing him his 14 parlay until they didn't.
No.
They delivered.
God bless you, Marcel Reed.
All right, Community Quick Hits is coming up next.
Yes, watch out on your local college campuses.
Here's Dave.
Thank you. Well, we have a couple of words of caution for college co-eds out there on our local campuses, as TCU has issued a public safety bulletin after 2 students reported being sexually assaulted in campus housing recently. The first incident was a visitor, somebody visiting a student in early October, sexually assaulted them in their room. And the second instance, a student was sexually assaulted by another student. And so they don't think that this is any kind of epidemic, but because it's getting darker earlier, we're about to have the time change and everything, they just want to make sure that everyone knows that Texas Christian University is committed to the health, well-being, and safety of the entire campus community. And they remind everybody about security escorts by campus police and making sure you have the Frog Shield app that you can contact authorities at any time if you need to. Meanwhile, a little bit more of a concerning situation on the campus of SMU as a convicted stalker from Plano, Ian Smith, 23-year-old dude, previously harassed and threatened SMU students. He has been arrested again for doing the same thing. So
how's he out of the clink?
Well, he targeted multiple female students in 2021, and he served prison time and was released earlier this year, but that has not deterred him. Shortly after he was released from prison, he was accused of harassing a female student in March. And then, so he was arrested for that. He was out on bond for that. And then he was booked into Dallas County Jail last Thursday for harassing another SMU student.
Is he a local kid? Guy?
He's from Plano. Yeah, God. He's a 23-year-old guy. He's never enrolled at SMU, but he stalks SMU co-eds. And
so I would assume if they got him now, then he's going away for a long time.
Well, he has been released on bond.
Oh, my God.
And so campus police at SMU and Highland Park police are aware of him and are on the lookout for him. But, yeah, so the most recent thing is on October 17th, an SMU student reported that he was repeatedly reaching out to her through Instagram, DMing her and video calling her, and then he also found her on Snapchat and was sending her messages on Snapchat.
Jeez.
And so she talked to campus police, and SMU detective called him and told him to stop, but he continued for the next 2 days, and then he was finally arrested.
Okay. So the warning got him, but now he's back out.
Now he's back out, and it's just, repeated behavior.
Yeah.
So, and he's a young, relatively attractive dude. If you've seen all his headshots, he's had so many headshots. The only thing that changes is the length of his hair.
Yeah.
But he evidently cannot stop himself. This is a interesting note as we are approaching Election Day next Tuesday, and I did my civic duty. I did early vote today, and I made sure to vote yes on decriminalizing marijuana in Dallas County.
Yeah, I did that too today. Real quick, my aside is my brush with fame at my polling place.
Oh, that's right.
As I get out of the car, and I'm like, first thing I notice is, oh my God, there's no line. Like, I'm the first one in there. And then I look to my right, and who's standing there? Beto O'Rourke.
Was he sweeping the sidewalk?
No, Dave, he's an attorney, I believe, but he was there with another candidate who I'm not really familiar with right now. But he was there with her, and I was like, "Hey, Beto,
was he there to vote? You can't campaign next to a polling place, can you?
It's 100 feet. Or something like that.
You got to be there is a distance rule. So, and I parked out in the back of the parking lot and then walked over.
So further away than you can smoke from the doorway.
Probably so.
You can also campaign.
Probably so. But he was like, "Hey, what's up, Snake?" I was like, "Hey, bro, what's up, man?
I'm so effing proud of you, Snake.
Yeah, way to vote, dude.
You guys."
So we know that the Mavs' new owner, Miriam Adelson, from the Las Vegas Sands Corporation, we know that she is a huge Trump backer.
Big time.
And
what a weird thing that's going on between Miriam Adelson, who owns 73% of the club, and Mark Cuban, who owns 27% of the club. Diametrically opposed, and I wonder if they talk. If they're friendly.
They've got to just avoid that conversation, right?
Man, you would think.
Well, her devotion to Trump basically goes to the fact that she is from Israel, and Trump has been a longtime supporter of Jews and the Israeli state.
Jeez, Bob.
And
I didn't say it.
Oh. But we now have from the Federal Election Commission her most recent donations to the Preserve America PAC, which is a pro Donald Trump PAC. So for the year, for this election cycle, she has donated over $100 million to this PAC, $95 million in the third quarter. So she went heavy in the third quarter.
Like the Niners did.
Right? By contrast,
thank you.
By contrast, the entire Mavs payroll is $186 million.
She cares more about this election than she does her team. Thank you.
So in her history...
Or the Mavs just hit the jackpot with a lady who will never run out of money.
Well, right?
That's the key.
Deep pockets. So it started in 2016. She initially was a supporter of Marco Rubio, and
Marco.
And Trump would openly mock the Adelsons for supporting Rubio until they switched and started supporting him, and then they were best friends.
That's so weird.
And so
how do you do that?
She donated $20 million in 2016 to Trump. Then in 2018, in the midterm, she spent $113 million. And then in 2020, for the last presidential election, she spent $75 million.
Okay, so when you lose something like that, so she's basically out 175 and could be out another 100 if it's as close as we all think it's going to be, and he ends up losing. Does she look back at it and say, I guess it's like us donating $10. I guess that's the equivalent of this. It doesn't matter. She doesn't look at it as a net loss. She was investing in what she thought was America's future, but does she see that?
If we may connect dots, though, Texas is still going to remain pretty red.
Yes.
Whether president or just
right.
It'll
be blue in the big cities and red everywhere.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is we're trying to get the sports gambling going here in Texas.
Yeah, and I'm sure she's spending X amount of millions of dollars on that separately. But this Preserve America PAC is a nationwide PAC, so it's not like she's just targeting Texas elections.
But think about it this way: the people that are against legalized gambling here are Ken Paxton and Greg Abbott.
And Dan Patrick.
I'm sorry, Dan Patrick.
Keith Olbermann.
But, dude, that's who she's basically funding.
Craig Kilborn.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, well, you gotta agree on the big things, and then you can.
But the big things,
you can money whip them into seeing your way on these other things.
She married into billions of dollars, right? Like this is her husband. She was a doctor, I think, of some sort. So she was very well off, but not like this well off. It's got to be really weird, though, to be kind of pulling strings on both ends.
By the way, this article calls her the 5th richest woman in the world.
Better than you.
Now that her husband has passed and she is the head of the corporation.
I'm not a woman. B, you would be correct even if I were a woman.
Debatable.
Yeah. You're not a woman yet.
With my Phil Lesh opinions, I could be a woman.
So if you want to know how deep her devotion runs, so she wrote an opinion piece in 2019 for the Israeli daily newspaper that she owns.
So this is all Israel-based.
Yeah,
every bit of it.
Every bit of it. And so this is her quote in her opinion piece. Would it be too much to pray for a day when the Bible gets a book of Trump, much like it has a book of Esther, celebrating the deliverance of the Jews from ancient Persia?
Oh my God. Dude.
I'm gonna go ahead and sit this one out.
Well, you don't agree?
You guys take this from here.
You don't agree with that? That he deserves his own book?
Yeah, it's about time for a new version of the Bible, don't you think?
Bro, how about that photo?
I'm just going to stand over here and wait for you to snap the ball.
How about those weirdos that had their hands on him yesterday? Those weirdo, air quote, pastors that were, I feel the power of him coursing through my veins. So weird.
Oh, man, we're almost done.
Get to this. We're later than balls.
All right, Danny, let's go.